And welcome to a sold-out Candlestick Park on a glorious afternoon by the Bay. The Falcons and the 49ers. And as you look at the standings in the West, San Francisco 3 games up on the Rams. Atlanta at 3-6, but coming off a big win over Buffalo just a week ago. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt. The San Francisco 49ers find themselves in the midst of a 4-game homestand. The Niners have won 12 of their last 14 regular season games, and they have been simply spectacular. If you saw them Monday night, they didn't miss a beat. And as we turn to Dan Jiggets, Dan, I was in this seat just a year ago when Atlanta came into town, very similar circumstances, and beat San Francisco because they got turnovers early.
Well, Tim, as Marion Campbell told us last night, the one thing the Falcons have to do is get turnovers and keep Joe Montana and that powerful San Francisco offense off the field. Now, the San Francisco 49ers, for their part, have said they want to establish a running game. But you know that Joe Montana is going to be looking into the direction of young primetime Deion Sanders, and if he has a success, that could mean primetime going into cancellation.
All right, Dan, the Atlanta Falcons come to town, one of the league's youngest teams. The 49ers with one of the league's more experienced clubs, and certainly one of the NFL's best. The standings again, Atlanta 3-6, and what can you say about that? Well, you can say they're coming off one of their biggest wins of the year. As you look at Mike Kofer, who prepares to kick off for San Francisco, Atlanta has won the toss. And the 49ers have not lost to Atlanta in 9 of the last 10 meetings. Of course, we mentioned the one when they did. That was right here just a year ago. Primetime Deion Sanders will be deep. Number 21 along with Keith Jones, number 38. And look at the Falcons. 6 of 9 games have been decided by 7 points or less. So Kofer's just about set. Sanders 5th in the NFC already. His longest return, 72 yards. Keith Jones is 6th.
The 49ers are shifting their line to try to fool Deion Sanders on the kickoff.
We'll find out if they fooled him. It'll be taken by Jones. And he returns it to the 26-yard line, stretches to the 27. The tackle made by Steve Hendrickson, who was just signed this week when Tom Homo was released, trying to bolster their linebacking situation. So a 14-yard return. So Chris Miller, the young quarterback, will come on. He was only 24th NFL start. He is young, and it's a young team which surrounds him. We'll tell you that Michael Haynes, the starting wide receiver, is inactive today. Bone scan this week showed no break, but he does have a sore shoulder. First down Atlanta. The game just underway. Tim Brandt and Dan Jiggets with you. And there's absolutely nothing straight ahead for John Settle. Outstanding defensive play up front by the 49ers.
Charles Haley just slipped right in there and made the stop. And that offensive front for the Atlanta Falcons.
Ken Ratliff, Dukes, Freilich, Hoover, and the tight end is the old 49er, Ron Heller. Jones and Settler in the backfield. We've told you that. Sean Collins one wide out. Floyd Dixon takes the place of Haynes. Stacey Bailey will be the guy then that comes in when they go to 3 wideouts. Second down and call it 10. 2 tight ends, Beckman and Heller in the game. Settle again, finds some room, this time straight ahead to the 31-yard line.
Kevin Fagan, number 75, had a shot inside on the play, but he just simply missed the tackle right at the point of attack. But Michael Walter playing in his linebacking position, number 99 for the 49ers. You see him coming up in there and let Mike King get into his chest, but he slips off of there and goes over and makes the stop. Very active linebacker for the 49ers. Probably their best tackler.
Got some help from Charles Haley down low. Haley grabbed his feet. Walter followed him and took him down. 3rd down and 5, Atlanta. Collins comes to the bottom of the screen. Miller's first pass of the afternoon incomplete. Thrown in the direction of Floyd Dixon. Darrell Pollard was the defensive back in the area. Dixon had no shot at the pass.
Timing mix up there between the quarterback and wide receiver, and the wide receiver runs that in pattern and stops and tries to go back out to the outside of the field. That ball's got to be delivered on perfect timing there, because otherwise it's an incomplete pass, such as just happened.
Fulhag punting to John Taylor. Taylor often overshadowed by the success of Rice, but he is a threat both as a wide receiver and a return man. Ranked 9th in the NFC. Fulhag gets off a wobbly punt. It's a low short punt. And Taylor's got room across midfield to the 47-yard line, and the 49ers will have excellent field position on their first offensive series. Albert Shelley made the tackle. A 34-yard punt and a 19-yard return. So Fulhag gets Atlanta in trouble right away. Joe Montana hit 11 passes in a row Monday night. 22 of 31 for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns. Simply spectacular. And although a lot of those were high percentage passes, Montana's on a roll. First down, 49ers. To throw right away, and again it's to his back. Rathman down to the 38-yard line, knocked out at the 37.
Tim, we will see something very interesting here. You see when the 49ers get that good field position, what it does to you defensively. All of a sudden, they can get right into their, their scripted plays. In a situation like this, Joe Montana gets the great protection on first down. Right away, they start eating you up with that passing game.
So much for your theory to establish the run. Second down and 1, and that's a situation you don't like to see Joe Montana in. They're going to bring out the chains.
Well, and see, if it is indeed second and inches, then expect to see maybe the 49ers stretch the defense a little bit and go to the end zone then.
They used to call it a waste down, knowing that you could always come back on third down and make up that much yardage for the first.
But see, I know Rathman was trying to fool us the other day. He said they wanted to run the football a little bit more, but, when you talk to George Seifert, he says, hey, look, the thing that we want to do is keep doing what's been going well for us, and, of course, that's been the passing game in Joe Montana.
First coach in 21 years to take over a Super Bowl champion. This is Rathman. He's got plenty of blockers. And bulls his way ahead to the 34-yard line. Definitely enough for a first, and Tim Gordon made the tackle.
Here's that running game.
That offensive lineup for you for San Francisco: Paris, McIntyre, Sapolo, and Colley, along with Harris Barton up front. Brent Jones is the tight end, and they haven't been getting the production out of the tight end that they had hoped, although Brent Jones is coming along. Craig and Rathman the setbacks. Rice and Taylor out wide. First down, San Francisco. The ball at the 34. Montana again goes to Rathman. And Rathman's tripped up at the 29 by Jesse Tuggle, and he just barely tripped him up.
Well, see, the 49ers know that they've got Atlanta sitting back in that zone. Those linebackers back about 10 yards or so. So they're just working up underneath to Tom Rathman. Every time Rathman comes out in that flat, he's going to be open unless they go into some form of a man-to-man coverage, or maybe man under with the linebackers and zone with the deep people.
Defensively, Gann, Casillas, and Thomas up front. The linebackers very quickly for you: Bruce, Rady, Tuggle, and Green. And the secondary, of course, led by Deion Sanders. Prime time. Case and Shelley come in passing downs. And 2 tight ends now for San Francisco on 2nd and 5. Underneath, Montana goes to Craig, and he's taken down at the 26-yard line by John Rady.
I want to tell you something, though. Even though he went underneath to Roger Craig that time, the tight end Brent Jones went down on that seam route, and that's what those tight ends are going to do an awful lot when they see some zone in it. They're going to go right down the seam on that route that's going to open up later on. If that defensive back reacts up underneath to the running back, expect to see Brent Jones loose down in the end zone.
Tony Casillas told us yesterday that this is the best 3-6 team you will ever see, and they believe to a man that they are as good as anybody in the league. But they're young. 2 tight ends now with Jones and Walls. Rathman and Craig are the setbacks. Montana to Rathman. Rathman inside the 20 to the 18-yard line before Evan Cooper can trip him up.
Nice little play action there. Again, you see the linebackers this time didn't drop back in that zone because they reacted to the play action, stayed up tight, and as a result, Rathman finds himself wide open out in the flat once again.
I know the Atlanta folks don't like to hear it, the coaching staff anyway, but they say this is a bend, don't break defense. Well, they're bending right now. We'll find out if they break.
When they get inside the 20, that's when they really bristle up.
Again, it's 2 tight ends for San Francisco on first down. Craig inside the 15 to the 11, still on his feet at the 10. welcome those of you who have watched Washington beat Philadelphia in what now has to be termed an upset, 10-3. Washington coming off 2 losses to the Raiders and the Cowboys. Here in Atlanta, it's scoreless first quarter. Tim Brandt along with Dan Jiggets, 10:24 remaining in the first period. In the very first series, Atlanta went 3 plays and punt. It was a short punt, and now San Francisco has come roaring down the field, and they're at the 10. 2nd down and 2, and this is Roger Craig. Gets to the outside, and he's not going to get the first down. Great pursuit by the linebacker, Jesse Tuggle.
Nice block on the corner that time by Tom Rathman, blocking the linebacker. Now, remember the previous play, what happened was Andre Bruce came in on a blitz, and they found themselves in the middle of a trap play outside. So this time the 49ers go the other way with a little toss action outside. Rathman gets a block on the corner, but Roger Craig can't simply get it around there.
Tuggle is playing with a sore hand. He's got stitches in his hand. Last week when it happened, Scott Case came out of the game, and he says, "Hey, Coach, I can see the bone." He said, "Which one?" He said, "All of them." They've stitched the hand up, and he's playing today. 3rd down and 2 for San Francisco. Montana to Rathman at the 6, and he's taken down by Tuggle again. So Rathman has really become the focal point of this offense, continues to get the high percentage dink and dunk passes. That's his 4th catch. Montana's 5 for 5.
And as we talked to them in the locker room the other day, I know he and Roger Craig were going back and forth, and Craig says, "Well, now you're me." That's what I was doing last year, was getting all those short passes and really being featured in the running game, and they seem to complement each other very well.
Marion Campbell in his 3rd year at Atlanta, known throughout the NFL as a fine defensive coach. He's up against it here on 1st and goal at the 6. Straight ahead, Craig to the 1-yard line. Tony Casillas made the tackle, but it was like the old Statue of Liberty.
It was, and you saw that time Jesse Sapolo, the offensive center for the San Francisco 49ers, is going to come around on a little C block. Now watch, you'll see number 61 come around right in the middle of your screen, and he's going to come around his guard who blocked down, not allowed the play to open up inside, because that center coming around and the guard blocking down opens that play up right in the middle. Jesse Sapolo, the Samoan center, said he didn't believe that a man was meant to play football with one hand between his legs.
2nd and goal at the 1. Craig. He's close. No signal. Casillas will get credit for the tackle, and they'll bring up 3rd down.
Question always is when you're on the goal line is whether or not the running back breaks the plane of the goal line. But the defense for the Falcons does a great job. Good penetration there. I believe it was Mike Gann. And then watch Casillas come in and just simply stop Roger Craig. He pulls him back before he can get over that goal line. And you see the ball never breaks the plane of the goal line. That was an extraordinary effort by Tony Casillas.
Well, here it is right now for Atlanta. 3rd and goal. Montana, touchdown 49ers. Routine now. They scored on the first drive in their last game. They scored in their first drive in this game.
I call the offense of the 49ers surgical, because you see the way they just kind of dissect you and just go right down the field.
Look at Mike Kofer, who's trying to add the 7th point. He does, and the 49ers lead 7-0.
That was kind of a weak touchdown by Joe Montana. You have to tell him that one won't make any highlight reels. Maybe he wants to go up over the top or something, but he got a lot of help from his offensive center on the play, Jesse Sapula. You see him, number 61, watch him fire out. Joe Montana just kind of sneaks it on in there. He could have at least jumped, though. Joe, give us a couple of highlights. Ground level shot up, just simply a quarterback sneak, goes to the strong side, right side, and takes it on in. Every time you run a quarterback sneak down on the goal line or in a short yardage situation, you have one specific side that the quarterback knows that he wants to go to. Joe Montana's case with the 49ers, he wants to go over that right side. That's what he feels his strong side is in terms of blocking. Now watch the blocking up front. Those guys get moved on out. Bruce Collier does a nice job of taking his man down and allowing Montana to slip in.
The drive went 46 yards. 11 plays and took 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Montana 5 for 5 on the drive, and 4 of those were to his fullback, Tom Rathman. So Rathman now has 48 receptions on the year, career high. And Joe Montana's gone 134 passes without an interception.
Tim, you know, one of the interesting things wasn't that goal line play, though, is the fact that the Atlanta team kind of left it. The defense left a big gap right in over the center. Linebackers playing way off in the end zone. Figured maybe they want to snuggle up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage in those kinds of plays. But you know what they're afraid of? They're afraid of the Tom Rathman coming out and again working that passing game, the short passing game.
Mike Cofer to kick off. Deion Sanders and Keith Jones are deep. Greg Patera now is deep, and Sanders comes out. So it's Jones and Patera are deep.
There's that shifting of the line again. So the 49ers do it again. They're trying to fool Deion Sanders.
But he's not in there.
Yeah.
So Cofer just blasted away. Keith Jones to the 21-yard line. And the tackle was made by Terry Greer. Return of 16 yards.
Once again, you see the linebackers are off the ball pretty good. And you think with a bubble being right over the center, there is no linebacker there. So the center's going to chip down, probably check down, help out on Tony Casillas, and then come back and get John Rady. But Montana's already in the end zone. Makes no sense to drop those linebackers back that deep. Get them up there in that center and let them stuff it up inside.
I'm going to tell Jesse you gave him a good pop on the air because he was just playing tiddlywinks there. He didn't have to throw a block. First down for Miller. The 21-yard line. Gene Lang spins and turns his way up to the 23. Pete Kugler, the nose tackle, filling in for Michael Carter, makes the tackle. To compensate for the loss of the injured Michael Carter, the 49ers will use a 4-man line more than normal.
Yeah, they'll put Charles Haley down in a down position many times and then use another 2 or 3 linebackers in there just to set it up because they need some more pass rush. That's the one thing that they want to get is a little bit more effective pass rush. They really miss Michael Carter at the nose position.
See, Buffalo responded big today after losing to Atlanta last week. It's 2nd down and 8 here at the 23. Settle across the 25. They'll mark it at the 27-yard line. Matt Millen makes the tackle.
Tim, you see the vision that this young man has. You saw him picking his hole in there, just kind of, jabbing and settling in there a little bit, and then he finds his spot and he takes off. Good running back with good vision, and that's the key when your offensive line has been banged up like the Falcons has. If you have a running back like that knows how to pick those spots, look for a little daylight and squeeze them up in there, you're going to have some success with your running game.
Eric Wright and Johnny Jackson come into the ball game now for San Francisco. They go to 6 defensive backs on 3rd down and 4 for Atlanta. There's pressure. Incomplete, thrown across the middle in the direction of Dixon.
It was in the direction of Dixon, but the legend hit him. Ronnie Lott, number 42.
Only his 2nd game back from injury.
Watch Ronnie Lott here, number 42, coming in on the play. Dixon, you see, is number 86. They run a little pick play down there, Atlanta does. Now watch Ronnie Lott coming in. He just wants to let him know he's around. See, when those receivers come across in those crossing patterns, from now on, they know the legend is back, so they got to be careful. The legend, Ronnie Lott, number 42.
Now, Fulhag's first punt was only 34 yards, which gave San Francisco great field position. Again, Taylor's the deep back. Tail wagger. Taylor at the 41 this time is run out of bounds and a flag will be thrown. Ron Heller ran him out. A 36-yard punt, a 2-yard return, and I didn't see where the flag or why the flag was thrown, but I'm sure we'll find out right now. Referee is Jerry Seaman. So it's a face mask. And I would assume it'll be a 5-yarder.
Yeah, because if it was 15, we would have seen somebody down there maybe taking a swipe.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 80, kicking team, first down.
Well, you can't blame Ron Heller, who played here last year, started 11 games for the 49ers, so he has a chance here in '89 to get back at some of his old teammates.
And he's chasing John Taylor right there. He tries to grab him, and indeed does get the face mask, holds onto it for a little bit longer than he probably should have. And again, that's slow motion.
Incidental, not flagrant, only 5 yards. First down at the 44. Montana. Three-step drop, throws to Craig, breaks the tackle, and then pulls his way ahead for a first down.
Andre Bruce had an opportunity to make the stop there with only a 5-yard gain. And he told us the other day that he wants to kind of establish himself so that he becomes one of the premier outside linebackers. If you're going to do that, in those kinds of situations, you've got to make the stop out there. You can't let a Roger Craig slip away from you. If you do, then what happens is you get the first down.
Should have been a gain of 5. Instead, he took Dimry all the way back, and it's a gain of 11. First down, 49ers. Going to the corner to Rice, almost intercepted, and should have been. Tim Gordon had his hands on it, and he knows he should have had the INT.
Well, that time they weren't playing zone in the secondary of the Falcons, and Tim Gordon eyeballed that pass all the way. Had him nailed down all the way. Now watch on the right side of your screen, number 41, Tim Gordon's going to follow the receiver all the way. He's eyeballing the quarterback. He knows that ball's coming in his direction, kind of lays in the weeds a little bit, and just allows that ball to come in, and he tries to pick it off. Jerry Rice never really could have had a shot at that ball. Good play by Tim Gordon.
You may have seen the smile on Montana's face because he knows he got away with one.
He dodged a bullet.
Second down and 10. Craig, left side, has plenty of room, breaks the tackle of Tuggle, and has another first down.
Oh, what a block by Harris Barton, number 79. Pulling from the backside of the play, counter OT. Harris Barton turns the corner, cuts his man down, and allows Roger Craig to get up the field and then turn the corner. Now watch this play here. You can see the backside guard and tackle pulling, counter OT, backside guard, backside tackle. Now watch the block right here by Barton. See, he takes that linebacker ready out. That's all you need to do is just cut him up a little bit, and that allows your running back to get the corner.
A gain of 10, first down, San Francisco. Roger Craig tries the right side and is met rather rudely by John Rady.
John Rady said, hey, you got me on the counter OT. Now you want to run a sweep back to the other side? No way, Jose. Came right over there, went right in between the pulling guards and made the play. He's one of those linebackers that came to the Falcons and really kind of established himself in the last couple of years as a pretty good hitter inside. You know, undersized guy like most of the linebackers for the Falcons are, but he really delivers a load when he comes in.
This defense has not allowed a running back to go 100 yards rushing since week number 1. That was Bell. Second down and 9 for Montana. He feels the pressure and throws it away. It was thrown in the direction of Wesley Walls. Tim Green was the defender. The crowd wanted pass interference.
Yeah, and Tim Green wanted a sack, so he thought he had him wrapped up pretty good, and Montana let the ball fly as Tim Green pulled off of him a little bit.
Green was the defender who came through, applied the pressure. He's got 3 sacks, as you said, Dan.
And he likes to, he likes to get in there and mix it up a little bit. And all the Falcons defensive players were telling us, he's gone into this headbutting thing whenever he has a great play, and all the defensive guys are running away from him now because he's giving everybody a headache.
Down 7-0 already with 4:34 remaining first period. It's third down and 9 and a big defensive play now for the Falcons. They go to 6 defensive backs. Montana to Rathman. He's close to the first down. We'll find out where they mark it.
It looked like Tom Rathman's knee hit as he tried to stretch and put the ball across for the first down. Watch, you're going to see Rathman, number 44, come across right in the middle of your screen as Montana gets a little bit of pressure, gets flushed out just a little bit. Now watch him dump it off right here. Now the key, though, is Rathman. Watch his knee go down as he tries to stretch out and reach that ball out over there. Never really got the first down on the play.
Crowd doesn't like it, but it's a good call. 5th catch for Rathman. Brings up 4th and 1. With a 7-0 lead, the 49ers are going for it. 2 tight ends, Jones and Walls. And now they take a timeout. We want to welcome those of you that have watched New Orleans beat New England 28-24. Here at Candlestick Park, we've got 3:35 remaining first period, and it's 7-0 San Francisco. Tim Brand along with Dan Jiggets, and the very first possession, the 49ers went 46 yards, 11 plays. They ate up 5 minutes and 14 seconds of the clock. Joe Montana was 5 for 5 on the opening drive, 4 to Rathman, and he scored the touchdown on a 1-yard sneak.
As we mentioned at the top of this game when some of our viewers weren't with us, Tim, is the fact that when you give the 49ers that kind of good field position, they're the kind of team that's very surgical, will go down the field, take full advantage of it, and get in for the scores. You cannot give them good field position. Got to make them work for the scores.
Marion Campbell told us turnovers would be very important today. San Francisco faced with a 4th and 1 in their second possession.
And on the earliest score, they went with a quarterback sneak with them. They had about a yard or so to get into the end zone, and Joe Montana didn't have anybody over his center. Jesse Sapoulos, so just went on that right side. I would not be surprised if they tried something like that once again.
Joe Montana now 7 for 9, 48 yards. So he's thrown 138 passes without an interception. Jones and Walls, 2 tight ends, power formation. Play action on Montana. He's got the first down. Inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
A little fake on the play action. They faked the sweep. They had some success earlier in the game running the sweep. So you see the 2 guards pulling out, going to the left. Montana keeps the ball. Now watch Tim Green here, number 99. He had Joe Montana in his sights about 3 or 4 times. I think he's still looking for him out there in the middle of the field.
Look at Marion Campbell of Atlanta. Tell me if you think there's a breakdown defensively. He says they've got to roll with it. Simplify what he said, edited for television. First down, San Francisco. Rathman to the 12-yard line. Another tackle for Jesse Tuggle, who's having a busy afternoon.
Wesley Walls, the young tight end for the 49ers, had a nice down block, allowed his tackle to come out. We said that the 49ers are going to go to their running game today, and indeed they have. That time, good down block by your tight end. Tackle comes around, sets it up real nice for the running back.
Dan, what does Atlanta have to do here? They haven't been able to stop them yet.
Well, I know Marion Campbell doesn't like to do it, but I think what you got to do is surprise the 49ers, take them out of their rhythm with some blitzing. You got to send some linebackers, some safeties, and just kind of unsettle them a little bit.
2nd and 3. Rathman bangs ahead, won't get there. Again, it's Jesse Tuggle who clogs things up, and he's having a marvelous game thus far.
Well, see, what the Falcons will do is play a very nice base defense. You know your people are going to be virtually in the same place every time. What that does, though, if you're the offense, is you say, well, I don't have to worry about my guy sliding down or slanting down, and I can always take my steps and kind of know where my man's going to be. So that makes it difficult on your defense, but Marion Campbell said he doesn't want to take all those chances and give away points.
49ers are 3 for 4, 3rd down conversions. It's 3rd and 1 now. Montana drops the football. And Atlanta got it, I do believe. Tony Casillas recovered it. The sack came from the backside. Andre Bruce, big number 93, and that's his 4th sack of the year. San Francisco acts shocked that they gave it to Atlanta. I don't think there's any question about it.
No, Joe was rolling the ball out as soon as he got hit from the back by Andre Bruce. Now watch Montana. He's going to try to run to his left. Bruce had already beaten Tom Rathman there on the play. Now there the ball comes out. Clearly it's a fumble. Tony Casillas makes the pickup. And I don't understand how come he was touched by Montana while he was down on the ground. So that kills the play.
We talked about turnovers. Atlanta needs them. They just got one. Dan, when we started the game, you talked about how important it was for Atlanta to get some turnovers. You look at this, you see that both teams do quite well in that area.
San Francisco with only 10 giveaways, and of course a lot of that goes back to the quarterback, Joe Montana, not throwing interceptions, as does Chris Miller. Chris really doesn't throw any interceptions.
And the key for Atlanta, they're +6 in that turnover ratio. Jones instead of the setbacks on first down. Jones in motion. They throw to Jones. He gets about 3. And he's hit hard by Don Griffin, the only defensive back to start every game for San Francisco. Tim Brandt along with Dan Jiggets, Candlestick Park. And it is a gorgeous afternoon in the Bay Area. If you're just joining us, Atlanta started out 3 plays and a punt. It was only a 34-yard punt. San Francisco took it on its first possession, went 46 yards. Montana was 5 for 5, and then he scored on a 1-yard sneak. It's 7-0 with 1:25 remaining first period. Settle with a big hole up the middle, bangs his way out to the 32, and it's a first down for the Falcons.
What you're seeing the 49er defense doing, that time Larry Roberts, number 91 for the 49ers, slanted in there tough. They're playing an under defense with 4 down linemen now, as you mentioned earlier, Tim. But what happens when you slant down in tough like that, if you get a little bit of a block on a defensive lineman as he comes across like the offensive line for Atlanta did that time, it clears the way for your running back because suddenly the defensive lineman is no longer on the line of scrimmage. He's down in the backfield on his back.
A gain of 14. First down for Atlanta. To the 35-yard line goes Keith Jones. He had a big day last week against Buffalo. Starts out here struggling for yardage. Matt Millen made the tackle along with Michael Walter.
Young man, Keith Jones out of the University of Illinois. I was down on the field earlier talking with him and says he's kind of trying to settle in, make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. But tell you one thing, the offensive line that time didn't make any mistakes. They're reestablishing the line of scrimmage for those young running backs. Jones
leads the team in touchdowns with 5, and he's gone over 100 combined yards in 4 of the last 5 games. And the first period about to come to an end on 2nd and 6. Here he is again. To the 40-yard line. He'll be a yard shy of the first. And that'll be the last play, first period. So that's the end of the first 15 minutes, and San Francisco leads by a touchdown. Tim Brandt along with Dan Jiggets at Candlestick Park. We're about to begin the second quarter. San Francisco leads 7-0.
Marion Campbell, a Swamp Fox, Atlanta Falcons, the head coach. It's his second tour of duty with the Falcons, and he is a defensive genius. But his defense has been having a little problem controlling that San Francisco 49er offense. Right now his offense is out there. Chris Miller at the controls, trying to get things cranked up.
How about Seifert taking over for Walsh? Off to their second best start ever here in San Francisco. 3rd down and 2 for Atlanta. Play action. Miller drops it to his tight end Wilkins, and they've got the first down.
Chris Miller did a great job that time of putting number 53, Bill Romanowski, the outside linebacker for the 49ers, in a sweat. What you see is Romanowski wants to come up and make the stop. He's looking at the quarterback, and his eyes are getting real big. Now watch out here on the left part of your screen. Romanowski's going to see Chris Miller coming to him, but now you realize, uh-oh, I got a tight end coming out there as well. Tries to get on the trail of the tight end, but he just is a little bit too late. Gary Wilkins makes the play.
Romanowski's played well in the place of Keena Turner, who's been banged up. First down, Falcons. Settle straight ahead, gets a couple. This is the first time they've been in San Francisco territory this afternoon. Right now, let's take you back to New York and Brent Musburger.
Tim, you can take your choice. The Giants, learning that the Eagles had lost today, softened up. The Rams have to win out of desperation, or the Giants had it soaked out in the Phoenix Sun. At any rate, the Rams lead 10-0 back to 10.
All right, Brent, John Settle, who was the ball carrier, is trying to limp off the field, and Kugler is also down for San Francisco. So out of that collision, both players get hurt. And while they attend to that, the walking wounded will take a break. 14:37 remaining first half.
The San Francisco 49ers are taking their nose tackle, Pete Kugler, off the field, number 67. Watch him here as he is circled on the screen. Watch his left knee as it looks like it hyperextends right there, and he just kind of goes down on top of it, and they're taking him off the field as we speak.
And that becomes very important in the scheme of things because Michael Carter is also out, deactive today. Kugler goes out, so now at nose tackle is Jim Burt. 2nd and 7 for Atlanta. Lang breaks a couple of tackles Carries it down to the 37-yard line, and that's when Michael Walter makes the stop.
Nice little move there by Gene Lang. Gives him the matador, gives it to him and then takes it away and then slides out to his left side for additional yardage.
On that last play, we showed you Kugler's injury. Settle also went out of the game for Atlanta, and we will have that update for you as soon as it's passed along to us.
It appeared that they were working on John Settle's calf, trying to loosen it up a little bit, so let's hope it's nothing serious.
Up front for San Francisco on that defense, it's Roberts, Burt, and Kevin Fagan. 3rd down and 2 for the Falcons. Miller, play action, has the completion. Again, it's his tight end, Wilkins. And he's down inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. It'll be a 1st down, and that's where Ronnie Lott made the tackle.
Falcons are having some success moving the quarterback around. Some draws, some lags coming outside, some waggles. And what that allows that offense to do is work that tight end to the sideline. All of a sudden, it's putting more pressure on the linebackers of the 49ers. Here's John Settle over in the sideline, and indeed, he's going at that calf a little bit.
Looks like it's more than a cramp, though, if they're going to tape it up and put a pad on it. You see the pad in the trainer's right hand. Wilkins now with 2 catches this afternoon. He came into this game with 1 catch all year. Keith Jones down to the 21-yard line. And the leading tackler for the 49ers, Michael Walter, makes the stop.
Houston Hoover at the point of attack that time did not gain any ground at the line of scrimmage. Got pushed back into the backfield, and that really upset the play.
You think Michael Walter will do any talking today to Chris Miller?
Well, he was his coach when Chris was in high school. He was his basketball coach and set up a scholarship for him at the University of Oregon. And I know Chris Miller said, hey, instead of setting up the scholarship, he could have just given the dough to me.
And their parents are still good friends. Watch the games together. 2nd down and 8 at the 21. Miller, nice pass into the flat. And a flag's thrown for the hit out of bounds by Romanowski. Romanowski doesn't like it.
One thing Bill Romanowski will learn as he gets more playing time is to know where you are in the field. And Matt Millen probably was just telling him that you cannot throw a wide receiver to the ground when he's out of bounds. Got to learn when to pull up.
Listen to this crowd.
Here's a play one more time.
Number 53 defense, 1st down.
So he's got a lot of yardage, and he's got a shot at looking at that sideline. Just can't do those kinds of things. You got to pull up and play it smart. Don't take the chance on giving away a penalty like that, especially down here when you're in that red zone down inside the 20-yard line.
So they move the chains, and it's 1st down Atlanta inside the 10. The Falcons trail by 7 with 11:40 remaining in the 1st half. Wilkins and Heller, 2 tight ends for the Falcons. It's 1st and goal at the 8. Keith Jones, the lone setback. Jones to the 7, not much more. Matt Millen tags him.
Falcons trying to send their tight end Wilkins in on a little wham block. You saw him go in motion. And then when he got to that center, he just turned up and went up inside trying to pick off the nose tackle, but he really didn't block anybody that time. And as a result, the play didn't really gain any positive yardage.
The weather has changed dramatically here at Candlestick. The sun has gone in. Clouds have come and now surround the stadium, and the wind has picked up a little bit. It's getting cooler, although that flag down in the corner looks a little bit limp and lifeless. But the game has changed as well. 2nd and goal at the 8. Drills this one incomplete, and Heller should have had a touchdown. There was an article in the paper here in San Francisco this week that wondered why Heller was catching the ball so successfully now, and he came into this game with 19 catches, but had trouble catching it with the 49ers. And Heller responded that he says, we'll see on Sunday. I can catch the football and I can catch it well, but he should have had a touchdown there.
Well, sometimes you put more pressure on yourself when you come into a situation like he's coming into, coming back to what was home for him for quite a while. But he's got to catch those passes. That's what you get paid for.
49ers go with 6 defensive backs now on 3rd and goal at the 8. Incomplete, poorly thrown.
once again, some pressure by Turner and Lott. Sounds like a law firm, doesn't it? Ronnie Lott, the legend, came in with Keena Turner, number 58, put some pressure on Chris Miller. Good blocking, really, by the offensive line of the Falcons to pick everything up. It's a timing thing, though. When you see that blitz coming down the goal line, quarterback's just got to put it up on the go routes or the corner routes, and that's what they did. Unfortunately for Chris Miller, he didn't have enough time to look downfield and get a real clear shot down there.
It'll bring up 4th and goal at the 8. And I don't see a kicker come onto the field yet. Atlanta's going to take a timeout and talk about it. So while they do that, we'll take one as well with 10:38 remaining in the first half. There's the kicker, McFadden, talking to the trainers. And on 4th and goal at the 8, he's not on the field. Meanwhile, during that timeout, Miller went down on his butt, and they started working on him.
And that's because Chris Miller's going to try to kick this field goal. Chris Miller is out there to try to attempt this field goal.
So they worked on his shoes, cleaned his cleats, and now Miller, the quarterback, with McFadden out, will attempt the field goal from 25 yards. Scott Case is the holder. It's up. It's not pretty, but it's good. And look at Marion Campbell, the Swamp Fox.
Ugly, but good.
And there's his dad.
Chris Miller's parents came down from Oregon, and they're taking pictures because this is going to be a momentous occasion for the family.
10:34 remaining in the half. It's 7-3. A look at McFadden, the kicker. He pulled a thigh muscle while he was warming up on the side. Now, he doesn't wear a shoe, so I thought immediately that he did something to that foot. He told us that kicking with a shoe is like trying to pick up a dime with a glove, but it's a thigh injury that he has. And so Chris Miller comes on, hits a 25-yarder, and it's 7-3.
And the trainer's over there going, hey, Paul, show us again how you hurt yourself on the sideline.
So now, what happens to the kickoff? You're looking at it. Keith Jones, he will be the man to kick this thing off. Terry Greer and Flagler are deep, but I don't know if they're going to see the ball that far back. Oh, how about this? That's a pretty good kick. It's Flagler. And he carries the ball to the 30, and there's a flag thrown at Flagler, but it will not be on him. The tackle is made by Elbert Shelley. This game's taken some unusual twists early. A 20-yard return, but the penalty will be against San Francisco.
Galen Thaxton came down on the kickoff, though, and just leveled Tom Rathman on that play. I mean, he put Tom Rathman on his back. First time I've seen that on the special teams for Rathman.
Illegal block during the return. Number 98 receiving team. First down.
That's Antonio Goss. Let's check the form of Chris Miller.
This is like a bad golf swing. You know, he's a 4 handicap, so he just gets that 9-iron out and just barely squeezes it next to the cup. This is that bad 9-iron, but he got it on the green. There you go.
First down, San Francisco. Look for another flag, and here it comes now, and it's going to be called on Charles Dimry for face mask penalty against John Taylor. No question about that one. He got tied up in the face mask accidentally, but almost immediately.
Jerry Siemens doesn't look too excited about making the call, does he? You know what happens a lot of times. That time Taylor runs a little hitch thing, and as a defensive back, you want to make sure you make the stop. But that time, Dimmer just kind of grabbed him right by the head. That's Taylor.
Don't want to make light of the injury to McFadden, but we talked about the style of Miller. How about Jones' style on the kickoff?
Well, you know, when I was with the Bears, we had a running back from the University of Illinois named Lonnie Perrin, who kicked for Denver and kicked for us as well. And so it's not unusual for those University of Illinois running backs to kick the football, I guess. Lonnie Perrin also kicked very well for Denver, kicked off for them.
Waiting on the call from Jerry Seaman. He called face mask.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So it'll be first down, and they need one. Montana to Rathman, who has the first down and then some out to the 33-yard line, and that's where Tim Green tripped him up.
Tim Green did a nice job of closing down on the backside of the play and not allowing Tom Rathman to get into that secondary and start running wild against the Falcons.
Green, 6'2", 245 pound, 4-year veteran out of Syracuse. It'll be first down at the 32 for Montana. It's 7-3 San Francisco with 9:40 remaining in the first half. Three-step drop, throw out to Rice, look out. Across midfield, inside the 40 to the 38.
Reason why the 49ers are running these little hitches because they know that if they got the Falcons sitting back in that zone, why not? This time Joe Montana goes over. He knows he's got those defensive backs sitting off, so now he just runs Jerry Rice on a little hitch, and Charles Demery slips and falls down on the turf. Now, the only thing that stops Jerry Rice here is a blade of grass or two, or he might take it the distance.
Dan, you were on the field prior to the game. Why is it so slippery?
They had wet the field down, apparently. You know, the Raiders used to do that across the bay when they were in Oakland. This field is wet here, and also the fact that they just filled in the infield with some new sod.
Now they're going to review this play and see where he was down and where he actually...
One of the things we're going to look for is whether or not Jerry Rice stepped out of bounds right here as he's trying to cut back, and it appears from right there he stepped on the out of bounds. It's got to be about the 45 or so.
So they'll probably move him back. Dave Kamansky's our replay official today.
After further review of instant replay, the play stands. First down.
And how do you figure that? It was obvious he stepped on the line.
Well, again, angles can fool you with cameras, and that's one of the things that's always pulled this instant replay into question as to whether or not the camera angle truly shows you that he was clearly out of bounds.
A gain of 31.
An illusion.
Ball's on the ground. Atlanta's got it. The second turnover of the afternoon for the San Francisco 49ers.
Joe Montana never had a handle on the ball as he pulled away from Jesse Sapolo, his center.
George Seifert told us the one thing that concerned him most about Atlanta was turning the ball over. It hurt him last year when he was an assistant.
And Marion Campbell told us the one thing that the Atlanta Falcons wanted out of the 49ers was a couple of balls on the ground like this, a couple of interceptions, and there it is right on the ground, and it's recovered by the Atlanta Falcons. We'll say thank you very much. They're in great field position now.
It hasn't rained in California this week. It's been glorious. It's been sunny and warm. But the field appears to be very slippery, and of course the ball is...
Well, what happens when your center, Jesse Sapolo, is blocking back? He's got his two guards pulling out. A lot of times that guard will snap the ball and just kind of go real fast before he gets the ball back to his quarterback.
San Francisco went 46 yards with its very first possession and scored. Montana was perfect 5 for 5 on that drive, but since then they've had 2 fumbles, killed 2 drives. Miller for Atlanta kicked a 25-yarder because McFadden was hurt, and here is our unusual score, 7-3. Not so unusual the score, but the way it's taken place, Dan.
Well, Marion Campbell told us that coming into this game that the Falcons have to get turnovers in order to be successful in this game. That's what they did last year against the 49ers when they were here and they won that game. So certainly that's holding true to form today as well.
It's first down and 10. The ball at the 33 for Atlanta. 9:23 remaining first half, and John Settle is back in the ball game after being kicked in the shin. Play action for Miller. Drills it across the middle. It's complete to Sean Collins, the rookie, in San Francisco territory. It'll be marked at the 48. Don Griffin was the defensive back. It's a gain of 19.
Sean Collins told us that, that he really wants to stay motivated to play this game. And here he's going to run an in route, kind of working on Don Griffin there, and really pushes Don off, and Don has to settle, gets in that back pedal, and then Sean Collins makes the cut inside.
Told us last night, every time he comes across the middle, he'll be looking for Ronnie Lott.
Yeah, says he wants to know where the legend is.
Sean Collins showed up our meeting carrying a telephone. Guess that's in case Miller goes after him long distance. First down and 10, the ball at the 48, and they go straight off the left side this time for a couple.
John Settle is really an inspiration for any player that comes into the game and has to struggle, but comes in as a free agent, that kind of thing, not really set up as a #1 guy and all of that. He's a guy that you can kind of look up to, works with young kids during the offseason, is really a very, very calm, straightforward kind of a guy. who works extremely hard at his job.
Got his inspiration from his dad. His dad was a minister. On 2nd down and 7, Miller has some company. Throws an interception. There is a flag. Chet Brooks has the interception. We'll wait and see what the penalty is.
Almost guaranteed to be holding against the Falcons offensive line. You look at that area where the flag is thrown, but there's also one downfield.
One in the secondary thrown in the direction of Brooks.
Holding number 55 offense, holding number 53 defense, offsetting penalties, replay the down.
So remove the interception. And Marion Campbell gets a break, and he knows it.
One thing Chris Miller has not done is thrown a lot of interceptions, and you look in that situation where he's flushed out a little bit and kind of got happy feet back there and just let the ball go.
Well, Miller came into this game with 127 passes without throwing an interception. But he also has yet to throw a touchdown against the 49ers in 3 starts. It's 2nd down and 7 at the 45. The screen. This is settled. Great pursuit by Haley and the San Francisco defense.
What you see in the San Francisco defense, too, is they're going to a 4-3 inside, and as they move that outside 4-3 linebacker up inside, but what it means is Charles Haley is now stretching those plays to the sideline because he's the outside guy. He's down in that down position, and it's tough to run screens against a defensive lineman who's used to playing linebacker because those are the kinds of things he's naturally going to look for.
Miller's been under some pressure, and we should mention the Falcons' offensive line is banged up. Ken has a groin and calf injury. Clayton has an ankle injury. Dukes is out with a groin and hamstring. Fralick's been banged up. 3rd down and 9. Throwing to Collins. Incomplete.
Chet Brooks ripped him off. Chet Brooks and the legend Ronnie Lott, they came over and ripped Sean Collins off. He had the catch, and they took it out of his hands. Here's the isolation on him. Now watch, 85 Sean Collins. Now watch Ronnie Lott coming in, take the ball away along with Chet Brooks. They just simply, they mug him. Look at this. Ronnie sets it up. Chet strips it out a little bit there. Now they're trying to make the interception. Neither one of them did either, by the way.
So Fullhead comes on to punt. And Taylor is deep for the 49ers. Wobbler. Taylor calls for a fair catch at the 13-yard line. So a 34-yard punt, no return, and with 6:54 remaining in the half, the score remains the same. San Francisco 7, Atlanta 3. The sellout crowd at Candlestick here knows that San Francisco is about to start a drive with its worst field position of the afternoon, starting at the 12.
And speaking of 12, here's Chris Miller, number 12, the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, on his first and his successful field goal attempt for the Atlanta Falcons. He's got to learn how to celebrate a little bit more. Look at it, Green is in there, 99, headbutting his quarterback now.
McFadden pulled a thigh muscle warming up, so the quarterback Miller had to stay on. It wasn't pretty, but he made it effective. It's 7-3, 49ers. First down for Montana. Rathman breaks a tackle from Casillas and is finally knocked down by John Rady.
Yeah, but see, Tony Casillas really upset the play right away. He's in the backfield making penetration. Tony Casillas came into the meeting we had with him last night and told us he's suffering from the flu. Really wasn't feeling all that well. You see his eyes are a little red there. No, that's his shield, of course. But he said he really wasn't feeling very well. Then you see him out here today, and the guy's going like gangbusters.
Well, he's having his best NFL season ever. You talk to the Falcons personnel, they say he's having a Pro Bowl year. Got that perfect body for a nose tackle. 2nd down and 9. Montana has a man wide open. It's Jones to the 39-yard line. His tight end, Brent Jones, a gain of 27 yards.
One of the things you try to do when you're working against zones is find little areas that you can settle down. And this one, Brent Jones goes down, runs it out, stops right there because he doesn't want to go out of that area and get covered. So he catches the ball, then goes right back down the seam. And, of course, that is always there when they're playing zone in the secondary.
Jones is a pretty good story as well. Grew up just down the road.
In Santa Clara, California, right near where the 49ers have their new practice facility, which is gorgeous, by the way.
Roger Craig on first down, big hole left side into Atlanta territory at the 44.
You saw Roger Craig going, oh, I had it. What happened on the play, though, is the defense for the Atlanta Falcons was slanting over to their left. Now watch the middle of that defense. You see everybody slanting away from the play. Suddenly, here comes the 49ers back with a sweep to the other side, and Roger Craig is set up very nicely, gets some nice blocking at the point of attack.
Right guard, right tackle. Tausch and Barton just opened that thing up. Craig took advantage of it. First down at the 45. Looks to Rathman, and now asks Rathman to throw a block for him. Well, he carries a pretty good resume. 33 years old, had a national title at Notre Dame, 3 Super Bowls. He's the all-time San Francisco leader in completions. He just seems to get better as the years go on.
And he asked Rathman to throw a block for him, and then Rathman goes, no, you didn't throw me the ball. I'm not going to throw a block for you.
It'll be second down and 4 at the 39. Taylor goes to the top of the screen, Rice to the bottom. Rice. Inside the 30. Rice will score.
Two things. We talked about how slippery the field is. That time, the 49ers have been running those hitches to their wide receivers all day. This time, Demery comes up. He's in a press position, comes up and tries to stop Jerry Rice, slips and falls down, and Rice does one of those, it looks like an Anthony Carter move. You know, Anthony comes in that short little slant route, just takes it back across the middle, and everybody's out of position to tackle him.
But that guy right there is just as slippery as the field is. Good look from behind at Mike Kofer. Barry Helton is the holder. Right down the pipe. So with 4:34 left in the first half, it's 14-3.
Now watch Demery and Gordon, both of them come up and try to get an angle on Jerry Rice, but now he cuts back against the grain, and you see Andre Bruce, he's trying to react back there. He really can't. Deion Sanders gets the face mask there as Jerry Rice goes into the end zone.
No face mask, had the top, but couldn't stop him.
Those are the numbers when Jerry Rice catches a touchdown pass. The 49ers are 8-0.
It's 14-3. San Francisco now with 4:34 remaining in the first half.
Of course, when Jerry Rice catches a touchdown pass, they're usually in multiples of 2.
Now Kofer tees it up to kick off, and deep for Atlanta are George Thomas and Greg Patera. No signs of Deion Sanders back there at all.
And Lynn Stiles, the special teams coach for the 49ers, told me he had all these things designed for Deion, and now he's not in the game.
Taken by the up man at the 12-yard line, 14-yard line, and he calls a fair catch.
He can do that.
Next Saturday, the #1 ranked team in the country, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, led by the Rocket, Rahib Ismail, and quarterback Tony Rice, take on 13th ranked Penn State. That's all next Saturday here on CBS Sports as CFA coverage continues here on CBS.
I came so close to going to Penn State, and Coach Joe Paterno and all that, and all my high school coaches were from Penn State. And one reason why I love the place is they had a great dairy. Great ice cream and butter.
First down, San Francisco. Or Atlanta, correction. Miller going up top. He's going toward Collins, and he can't get there. Just overthrown Griffin and Lott were behind Collins. He had a step.
One of the things that a young quarterback and wide receiver will develop over time is this kind of understanding where the other guy's going to be. When you loft these go patterns out, after working together for a little while, you learn to just drop it down just a second earlier, and that allows Sean Collins to get up underneath of it. But, of course, Ronnie Lott had the beat on him. If he'd have caught that ball and tried to run with it, Ronnie would have established his numbers on Sean Collins.
Second down at 10 at the 14. This is settled. Run out of bounds at the 16 by Don Griffin. Right now, let's take you back to our New York studios. Here's Brent.
Tim, quarterback controversy in Dallas. Troy Aikman gets the start today, up by 6. He allows Tim McDonald to pick it off and go 53 yards for the touchdown. And the Phoenix Cardinals have taken a 7-6 lead as Steve Walsh watches from the sideline. Back to Tim.
I don't know, Brent, though, when you talk to Gene Stallings down here in Phoenix, he'll tell you that Tim McDonald should be in the Pro Bowl as young safety out of USC.
I was surprised Jimmy Johnson went back with Aikman after Walsh won last week. Third down and 8. Miller has some company coming. That should be incomplete. No whistle yet. Touchdown, San Francisco. Charles Haley. They say he never brought it forward.
Had the ball up, preparing to throw the ball, but as he brought his shoulder back, and that's when the ball got popped out by Haley. Haley picks it up, takes it onto the end zone.
That thing's like a bar of soap.
Wet soap.
Montana's fumbled it twice. Now Miller fumbles it, and it results in a big San Francisco touchdown. So Haley takes that ball home with him, and Kofor comes on to kick one away. And just as quickly as that, it's 21-3.
Pressure comes from the left side of your screen. Charles Haley, number 94. All in all, Chris is really getting some good protection up there, but now watch as Haley. Chris tries to throw the ball and just simply pops out of his hand, and Haley's right on top of him, scoops the ball up and rolls into the end zone with it. Houston Hoover tries to make the tackle, but he just kind of throws Haley in the end zone.
So officially, it'll go down as a 4-yard touchdown run with a fumble by Haley.
When you look at ways that you lose football games and a situation like that arises, if you're Marion Campbell, you start looking around and wondering if you're born under a bad sign or something. Here it is again. Now watch as Chris Miller sets up. The ball just simply slips out of his hands. He avoids one rush there, sets up, and the ball just pops out.
This has been a strange game, Dan, as you watch Haley run it in from 4 yards out. San Francisco scored on its very first possession, methodically, 46 yards, 11 plays. Montana 5 for 5. There's Chris Miller's mom and dad. Then McFadden got hurt, and Chris Miller, the quarterback, kicked a 25-yard field goal. It was 7-3. Then the 49ers went 88 yards. Montana hit Rice with a 39-yard touchdown pass, and now look at that grin will tell it. Haley scored from 4 yards, and it's 21-3. So Kofor's now going to kick off, and Deion Sanders is back deep, along with Greg Patera. I guess Marion Campbell felt the last 2 times that as long as Sanders wasn't in there, they weren't kicking to him anyway. Sanders trips, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Lynn Styles, the special teams coach of the 49ers, said, well, if we do kick the ball out of bounds, at least that way we know Atlanta's going to start only on the 35. If you put the ball in the hands of Deion Sanders, there's no telling where it's going to end up. Quite possibly could end up, as Deion says, in the paint. That means in the end zone.
What was his line? It was like trying to fix an electrical wire in the dark.
Yeah.
You have a chance of fixing it, but then he could kill you, too.
This is Lynn Styles. I saw the piece that was done on the NFL Today on primetime on Deion Sanders. And we got a chance to talk with him yesterday, and he is a very nice young man. He's kind of got his whole routine working for him. You know, he wears the wristbands all up his arms. And I told him a story about Walter Payton wearing wristbands in practice, because that's because he used to have his Rolex watch on underneath there and wanted to protect it a little bit.
What time is practice over? First down at the 35 for Atlanta. Miller throws this one complete at the 45. Was he touched? Floyd Dixon is the receiver.
Dixon was never touched. He realized it. The defense suddenly realized it when they saw Dixon up and running again. Nice reaction that time by him.
Chet Brooks will finally get the tackle.
Here's the isolation on Dixon. Now watch, he runs an out route. The key there is he goes down and he's never tackled, never touched. And as a result, he gets up. Darryl Pollard just simply jumped over him. But here comes Bill Romanowski to put the hit on him.
First down at the 48 for Miller. Throws underneath the coverage, has the completion. And Jones is taken down at the 49-yard line by Chet Brooks. That's the time remaining in the first half. With 3 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the first half, there's timeout on the field. And so Miller will go over to the sidelines and get his instructions. And this is a critical drive, I would presume, Dan, for Atlanta.
When you look at the situations in a game and when you can get back in the game and kind of establish yourself for the second half, the Falcons are able to go down now and get a touchdown or even a field goal. It kind of puts them back in the game and goes in. They go into the locker room at halftime with a good, positive feeling about what they've been able to accomplish in the first half. If, however, you give the ball back to the 49ers with maybe 2 minutes left to go and Joe Montana does his thing down in the 2-minute drill, then you go in a depressed attitude.
New Orleans winning today, 5-5 at the 500 mark. San Francisco 3 games up on the Rams, and Atlanta at 3-6. It's second down and 9 for the Falcons. The ball at the 49. There's 3 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the first half. Pattern is complete. Dixon is run out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Don Griffin. Another first down. They'll move the chains.
You'll see the 49ers give up certain plays inside. They're going to give up those routes inside, but Don Griffin's got to come up if he wants to stop those receivers from getting that ball and going out of bounds and freezing up this clock a little bit and taking advantage of that situation. He's got to come up and press a little bit more. Watch the 49ers cornerbacks to come up and press the wide receivers.
Miller's got pressure. Throws in the direction of Jones, incomplete. Jamie Dukes, the center, was trying to hurry everybody up to the line that last time. Dukes is playing despite hamstring and groin injuries. Got everybody up there for the hurry up, and they threw incomplete. Miller now 9 of 16 for 82 yards.
I like that profile on old Jamie Dukes. Him and Houston Hoover and those guys, they look real good. Those are offensive linemen. That's what you're supposed to look like. See? Look at all, you got that little setup in the front, a little pouch there, and a little in the back to keep you down. So when those defensive linemen try to run over you, you just kind of sit down on them a little bit.
I guess you call that a low center of gravity.
I always did.
Second down and 10. Incomplete. Jones was looking for the tackler instead of the ball.
Keith Jones got hit on the left shoulder pad that time. He turned around just a little bit too late, and that ball just hit him right on the shoulder pad. He was looking downfield. He had taken off. I think he had already had in his mind that he was visualizing the score. Should have caught that football.
Third down and 10 at the 37. .238 remaining in the first half. Atlanta needs one here. Miller throws it quickly and just tries to dump it off to Lang. But the pressure was coming from Griffin.
Gene Lang's got to do one or two things. If he's going to block, Don Griffin coming in, block him. If he's not, get out hot on the route. That time, he just kind of bumped Griffin a little bit and then turn around for the pass. You got to do one or the other, though. You got to commit to one or the other. You can't let the guy rush and just kind of brush his shoulder. It's like on a screen pass. If you do that, your quarterback will be going to the hospital.
Miller was furious. Went over to the sidelines, and he is still upset. Bullhagen will be punting to Taylor. And the 49ers are going to get the ball back with 2:34 remaining in the first half. Wobbly punt. It'll hit at the 15. And that's where the 49ers will have the ball. John Taylor made the catch, fair catch, 22-yard punt. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we'll have Brent and Irv with all the scores, the highlights, and the latest information from around the league for you. Buffalo came back strong today. Washington beat Philadelphia.
It's been a year of upsets. When you look at any year in pro football, you look at the teams you expect to be winning football games. Suddenly, you come to find out, look at the Atlanta Falcons last week coming up and, biting Buffalo. And Buffalo certainly didn't expect that. A lot of parity in the league now because of the way the draft's set up and the way the players moved around in Plan B. Yes, that football still has Pete Rozelle's name on it, not Paul Tagliabue's.
Montana on first down rolls and throws the interception. Jesse Tuggle makes the catch, and if that goes, which it looks like it will, that's a big turnover. It is. Turnover number 3 for the 49ers, and the Falcons will have the ball at the 29-yard line of San Francisco.
Montana did a little bit of a roll. Now, I'm sure this play is going to be reviewed by the instant delay. But watch here as Montana rolls out to his left. Now, he's looking for John Taylor, number 82. But Tuggles just kind of plays right in front of him in that little zone there and makes a nice interception. Now, I'm sure the question is going to be, did he trap the ball or did he catch it?
Instant delay.
Instant delay. George Seifert says, hey, I hope they do delay this game and take a look at that. And indeed, here we go.
Well, if they overturn it, this man may explode.
Here's another look at it. Now, see if Jesse Tuggle traps the ball or he catches it. There, he's got a nice, clean catch, but he falls down on that ball as it's bobbling out as he goes down to the ground. I suspect that they will rule against Atlanta on this play.
I'd give him that catch.
I would too. It's an extraordinary effort, but I'm not over there in the replay booth.
Dave Kamansky's our guy up in that booth. Not our guy, but the NFL's guy. He's on his own. If it stands, it'll be first down Atlanta. Inside the San Francisco 30 with 2:18 remaining in the half. They trail 21-3.
See, the thing is that when a defensive guy's trying to catch that ball, if he catches it and he traps it on the ground, and he traps it on the ground because he falls on top of the ball and the ball is coming out, then they're going to reverse the call if that's the case.
And you feel like they're going to do what?
I feel like they're going to reverse it.
All right, here it is. Here's the call.
After further review of instant replay, it is determined we do not have an interception. The ball was not caught. Incomplete pass. Reversal. Going back.
Once again, they rule that he trapped the ball. That's simply it. Marion Campbell's not going to agree with that in this decade or the next one. Another look at it. Jesse Tuggle, you see him trying to tuggle the ball up from the ground here, and he just kind of traps it as it's kind of sliding around. He's got it in the basket, but he really doesn't have good control of it. The officials rule in the replay booth that he bobbled the ball as he was going to the ground and then fell on top of it instead of catching it cleanly.
Second down and 10 at the 16 for San Francisco and Joe Montana. That's a big reversal. Anderson and Craig are the setbacks. Anderson in motion. This is Craig. Tony Casillas made the tackle at the 19, and the clock continues to move near that 2-minute warning. So with 2 minutes remaining first half, the score remains the same. It'll be third down and 7 when we come back. And it's 21-3, 49ers. Montana to Henderson. And Henderson's loose inside the 50. Sanders has a beat on him and will knock him out at the 5.
Tim, can you believe how fast Deion Sanders can run? Good gracious. He had to run at least 70 yards to make that play, and he closes on Henderson down the far sideline. That's incredible.
A gain of 69 yards.
Deion Sanders is all the way on the far left side of your screen. And Henderson slides out on the right side, makes the reception, breaks a tackle right there by Charles Demery. Poor effort on Demery's part. And he has gone down the sideline. Watch how Deion Sanders closes on him in a tight shot here. right there. I mean, he came 70 yards away, got a beat on him, and took off for that position.
And they throw the flag on Sanders right there.
They ought to give him an award for running that far and making the play.
Sanders is hot. The penalty takes it halfway to the goal line. They mark it just outside the 1. For Henderson, that's his first NFL catch, and he takes it 69 yards. So welcome to the NFL. How do you do? And San Francisco's got first and goal at the 1. Montana. And he's not in.
I think the officials really stepped on that out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds as he was trying to get his shoulders lined up to get into the end zone. Joe Montana is about as cool, calm, and collected as you can get. And we were talking with Jesse Sapullo, and he's talking about that last drive in the Super Bowl. He said Joe Montana's attitude to approach the game is the same on the last drive, the critical drive, as it was in the opening drive. Never really changes.
He can afford to smile here. It's second and goal and 2. Craig slips down at the 2, no gain. Just lost his footing.
You see that turf piling up down there. There are a lot of areas where this turf has been replaced, of course, because the San Francisco Giants just recently got through playing a World Series here. And one place is a warning track, which is down by the end zone here. Joe Montana stumbles out as he makes the handoff to Roger Craig. But watch Craig slip and then fall down as he tries to make his cut. Once again, Montana doesn't get out cleanly because Guy McIntyre steps all over his dogs. No wonder he didn't. And Roger Craig slips and falls.
Third and goal at the 2, 49ers. Montana. Taylor, touchdown. Will try to add another one. (28-3) San Francisco.
Tim, when we talked to the 49ers about them running pick plays down on the goal line now, what they do is they put Jerry Rice in motion, and they'll try to pick the wide receivers, the other wide receivers, off of Rice. Now watch John Taylor in this play. You see Rice coming over in motion. That, once again, is going to tell you what the defense is doing now. What Atlanta's doing is playing a little zone there, so they say, okay, you want to play zone, we'll just send Taylor out to the corner instead of Rice. Now, if they've been playing man, they just sent Rice all the way out to the corner of the end zone.
That should be a flag, Dan. That's an illegal pick and actually took him down. Montana now 13 of 16, 230 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I see you wearing a striped tie today. I didn't know you were wearing a striped shirt too. You gonna make some calls up here?
Watch this now. Just watch Rice. Watch number 80. All right, watch number 80.
Jerry Rice comes in motion now. It's zone, so Jerry says, I'm going to go back inside and let John Taylor come back out. Jerry Rice is allowed to go back. He's a wide receiver. He can go anywhere he wants to in the end zone. The defender's got to get out of his way. I know you're an old linebacker, but even linebackers and defensive backs have to move on the field.
Put Robert Moore down. Kofu will kick off to Deion Sanders and Greg Patera. And the odds are he won't see this kick. 53 seconds remain in the half, and I'm sure they won't kick it in the direction of Sanders. At least I don't believe they will. A little squib. Taken by Patera. And Patera breaks 2 tackles and fumbles the football at the 42-yard line.
It appeared to be recovered by the Falcons, and that's what the officials are ruling.
A 21-yard return.
Gary Wilkins, I think, recovered the football for the Falcons. Deion Sanders was kind of laying back, looking for a little lateral action there, thinking maybe he could break it off the tackle.
He also started to walk toward the offensive huddle. He didn't want to come off. He wanted to be a receiver. He played 2 offensive plays last week and got 1 first down on an interference. 45 seconds remain first half. It's 28-3 49ers. Miller has time, drills this one and has incomplete. Jones had it, but then had it knocked loose, and I mean knocked loose.
Don Griffin came in and stuck Jones with that shoulder, clean shot, just gave it to him right in the ribs, and he gave up the ball. That 49ers secondary is really developing a bad attitude back there now again. They're really trying to get after some people. Now watching the slot, that's Jones. He's coming down, and he's going to be working against Griffin later on as he goes through one zone and is released to the second one. And right there, Don Griffin just unloads on him as he has his head turned away.
Miller now 9 for 19. He's had 3 or 4 dropped. And as you look at Griffin, the only defensive back for San Francisco to start every game, and he leveled that guy right there.
One of the things we talked to Don Griffin about the other day, though, is how dangerous this sport of football is. And, you know, they were concerned in talking about them missing their safety, Jeff Fuller, who was, of course, injured very seriously earlier this year. And Don knows how dangerous this game is. He sees what it can do to a human being. And certainly we see another player take a shot like that. You play hard, you play tough, but you don't want to injure anybody to the extent where they're going to get maimed or anything like that. And Griffin just plays it tough.
Keith Jones, the rookie, only 23 years old, out of Illinois, and he has really had an impact with this Atlanta team. 5 touchdowns. He's gone over 100 combined total yards in 4 of the last 5 games, so he comes out of the lineup now. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from Miller.
What you'll see the Falcons probably do is work the inside of the field down inside the hash marks with some slanting routes, some deep slanting routes, because the 49ers are going to try to take away all of those outside routes.
Well, Atlanta goes with trips to the top of the screen. 3 receivers. Zone defense by the 49ers. Dixon makes the catch at the 40-yard line. Whistle blows there. The tackle by Johnny Jackson. The clock continues to move at 25 seconds. Gain of 18. Miller gets him up quickly. To the 39, Gene Lang, but the clock continues to move. He doesn't get out of bounds.
You're going to work it to the sideline, get out of bounds. That's your principal duty, and the clock runs out on the Falcons.
So that's the end of the first half with the score. San Francisco 28, Atlanta 3.
Well, Irv, the New York Giants stayed in Phoenix. So much for staying in the sunshine.
Next time they stay in New York in the snow if need be.
Look at what's happening. The Rams, of course, are a desperate football team. They have to win today, and they have been storming and stomping after Phil Simms. Here comes Kevin Green, almost tears his head off with that sequence right there. And Jim Everett, he'd been in a slump, but he comes alive. He's 18 of 24, 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here's the first one. Aaron Cox, 51 yards, and the owner, Georgia Frontiere, is watching on the sideline, and she says how sweet it is. Now a turnover, she's got another chance. Everett back, and it's Flipper Anderson for 21 yards. And the Rams are all over the Giants, and of course there's significance here for the San Francisco 49ers. They could wind up with football's best record if they hold on. Now I want to talk about the 49ers in Atlanta. More specifically, we want to talk about the Neon Man, Deion Sanders, here in this game. Now the bright spot for Atlanta, the 3 points, here's Chris Miller. What a splendid all-around athlete he is. In case you joined the game late, Paul McFadden pulled a muscle warming up, so he pressed into service his quarterback. Chris's parents at the game, and they certainly enjoyed that. Then it was Montana on this hitch to Jerry Rice. And what about Deion Sanders here, Irv?
Well, here's one of the plays you want to take a look at closely. Sanders, number 21, closing in on Rice. Hits him high across the helmet. Rice goes in for the score, but there's no penalty call there.
Now, right after that, it was the big fella, Charles Haley, scooping up the fumble and scoring his first career touchdown. And then again, we focus in on the Neon Man.
Now, Montana this time going to number 30, Keith Henderson, a rookie out of Georgia, takes the pass and scoots along the far sideline. Now, Neon does a great job pursuing his play. Deion gets there and whack, hits him high across the head. This time they call him for a personal foul. The flag goes down, and he's assessed a penalty.
Yeah, the rule book's pretty specific about delivering a blow to the head.
Anytime you get above the shoulder pad and to the head, it's an automatic personal foul.
Absolutely, and it should be called. Okay, Dallas and Phoenix. Now, we showed you that update, I believe. Tim McDonald intercepting Troy Aikman. Cardinals go up 7-6, all right? Now let's move you to the subsequent drive. Irv?
Aikman dropping back, finding Kelvin Martin in the end zone for the score. The beauty about this drive, though, Brent, was that he came off that interception, shook it off, and bang, put his club in for the touchdown.
AFC game, and it's a good one. And Cleveland having some resistance from Seattle out in the Kingdome, tied at 7. They're into the third quarter there, and we'll continue right after these messages from your local stations. When the sun came up, I found two people who believed in the Washington Redskins, Irv Cross and a coach by the name of Joe Gibbs, whom we spoke to earlier.
Hopefully, somehow at some place in here we're going to turn it around. We've been on the top. We're now on the bottom, more or less, and we got to try and find a way back, and hopefully that's through hard work and being determined and committed.
And the Redskins came out fighting. The Eagles were able to cross midfield only 3 times in this game. And Doug Williams didn't play like he did last Sunday night. There's a 4th down catch by Jimmy Johnson. But the key play in the game was probably right here in the third quarter. The Eagles were on the move. Cunningham is flushed, and instead of throwing it away, he tries to force it. Kurt Gavia with a big interception there for the Skins. And Washington wins its biggest game of the year of 10-3.
10-3, a great effort, a great coaching job by Gibbs, but really a revamped offensive line. He came in all beat up and battered, but came out with a great victory. And,
you know, finally, the Minnesota Vikings were able to win a game outdoors. They went down to Tampa. 24-10 was the final score. Vinny Testaverde made it close late on this touchdown pass to James Wilder. Well, you know, Bob Schnelker's under fire. He's the offensive coordinator, all right? So what did you do for Jerry Burns today? Well, designed this play. That was good for an early touchdown. And then late, a long scoring drive against Ray Perkins, and Herschel Walker up over the top, and the Minnesota Vikings protect their lead in the NFC Central Division 24-10. Green Bay and Detroit. Don Mikowski put it up 59 times for the Packers, but no magic today because of Walter Stanley.
Walter Stanley, a guy who played with the Green Bay Packers for a number of years and was cut by them early this season and picked up by Detroit, picks up this punt and rambles 74 yards down the right sideline for the Lions.
And what's your feeling about Rodney Peete these days?
Rodney Peete's a very exciting quarterback. He has a complicated offense to run this run and shoot, but he's perfectly suited for it. Rolls off to his left there for the touchdown.
Johnson, the main man. Meanwhile, for the Chicago Bears, you know, when the Pittsburgh Steelers lose, they do it in style, don't they? They have been shut out 3 times today. Now, watch this interception. Bubby Brisker had thrown 179 passes without an interception when that one was picked off by Stinson, and it set up a Chicago Bear touchdown. We keep talking about Jim Harbaugh, the extra dimension for Chicago. He ran for a touchdown, then he dropped this one off for...
To Brad Buster, does a good job. No one opened up field, dumps it off to his running back, and he's in for the score.
All right, how about the Denver Broncos and John Elway? You know, his numbers are not flashy, but he does get the W. And on their last drive, he was 4 of 4 for 62 yards. Christian Okoye did not play. Injured thigh. Watch the shovel pass to Steve Sewell, 31 yards to the 9-yard line, and that will set up the winning field goal attempt by David Treadwell. When Treadwell was down at Clemson, he used to win games like this in dramatic fashion, and he pulls this one out, and the Broncos now run their record to 8-2. Meanwhile, also in the AFC, a big win for Buffalo, and they're a game behind them at 7-3, 30-7, and for the afternoon, it was this man,
This man, Jim Kelly, hitting Thurman Thomas this time for an 8-yard touchdown. Buffalo fans are happy to see him back in the lineup.
Exactly. All right, how about Miami and the New York Jets? The Dolphins never win when they come to New York, but they snapped that streak this afternoon. Their first win since '84. Pete Stoyanovich, can you use that wind? You bet. A 59-yard field goal, the 3rd longest in the history of the NFL. How'd Dan Marino do, Herb?
This pass isn't the longest pass in the NFL, but you've seen him do it so many times. Marino, fading back, hits Mark Clayton. Watch what he does with it after he gets it, Brent. Nothing to it. 78 yards later, he's in the end zone.
And the Dolphins enjoy that win. The New England Patriots, they had never lost to the New Orleans Saints. But that string was snapped, and here's Irv Cross's favorite defensive play of the day.
Defensive backs love this kind of play. The batted ball, tip ball, whoops, Brett Maxey comes up with it, rams along the left sideline for a 27-yard touchdown. Terrific.
And the New Orleans Saints are now at 5-5 thanks to that defense. Now let's send you back to the stadium and a game you're enjoying on CBS.
Welcome back to Candlestick Park, where the San Francisco 49ers lead the Atlanta Falcons 28-3. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Dan Jiggets. And Dan, when we started this game, you talked about how important turnovers were for Atlanta. Well, they got 2 turnovers and only got 3 points.
Well, the key thing was so you get the turnovers, you got to make sure that you don't turn the football over. And indeed, that's what the Falcons did. One time, Charles Haley picking the ball up after Chris Miller tried to throw the football downfield and slipped out of his hand. Haley picks the ball up, takes it in for a touchdown. Those are the kinds of turnovers that really do you in, because not only do they get the ball, but they also get the 6 points.
On their very first possession, San Francisco went 46 yards. Montana scored, and then here's their second touchdown.
Jerry Rice, Charles Demery comes up, slips down the field, as does Tim Gordon. Jerry Rice takes it the distance, then cutting back across the grain. The only guy with a shot on him is from the far side is Deion Sanders. He gets a face mask there, and the Falcons got penalized on the kickoff.
So Rice, for the 4th straight year, goes over 1,000 yards, and then watch this touchdown by Haley.
Charles Haley comes in, he's closing in on Chris Miller. Chris tries to pump fake the ball there, throw it downfield, and he simply slips with the ball, and Haley scoops it up, takes it in the end zone. Not very gracious, but it's still 6 points on the board.
I thought this next play was a flagrant pick, but there was no flag thrown, so it's a moot point.
Well, it's a pick, but yeah, but the wide receiver's allowed to slip into the end zone there. Robert Moore, number 34, has got to get out of the way of the receiver. He can cut back inside. Taylor catches the ball, 6 points for the 49ers.
So Montana ends 13 of 16, 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we'll continue after this message and a word from your local stations. As they bring the Crabs into the wharf. Here it's a 28-3 ball game. 49ers on top of Atlanta. And on Old Timers Day, the alumni is not dissatisfied with this performance at all, especially the passing game, Dan.
Yeah, Joe Montana again has gotten loose with a couple of nice long passes. One of them to Jerry Rice. Short one to John Taylor for a touchdown.
Montana, we mentioned, 13 of 16, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Miller not having a bad day, but the ball did get away from him that one time. Haley scored, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
No good news and no bad news. Average yards on first down for Atlanta, 5.2, which is very good. And San Francisco, 8.9. Of course, that 8.9 is reflective of the fact that the 49ers have been thrown to the backs, onto the backfield and working against that zone of the Atlanta Falcons.
So Joe Montana prepares for the second half. And as we begin the third period, it's 28-3 49ers. San Francisco 8-1, the defending world champions. They say the defense is just coming together. Obviously, the offense has.
27.3 points a game. That's putting some numbers up on the board. Of course, they're ahead of that pace already today with 28.
Tim Brandt and Dan Jiggets with you at Candlestick Park. Look at Chris Miller, the young quarterback, only his 24th NFL start. He's already passed for well over 4,500 yards.
Young quarterback is going to become a kicker now. Paul McFadden is not able to come back in the second half and loosen up that thigh muscle that he got hit.
We'll try to get an update on McFadden. Did pull a thigh warming up for a field goal. He pulled that thigh, and Miller came in and kicked the 25-yard field goal. This is the remaining schedule for the 49ers, and they say they're just now getting into the tough side.
Yeah, when you look at teams like the Giants, Green Bay's been playing pretty well. The Rams, tough division game. Buffalo, and then Chicago on December 24th.
Next week is not a good time to catch Green Bay because the Packers struggled today. You hate to get a team after struggling to come back. That's what happened to the Eagles today against Washington. Washington had 2 terrible performances against the Raiders, and the Cowboys came back today against Philadelphia and beat them. Keith Jones will kick off instead of Paul McFadden. McFadden will not be back, and this kick will go out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
And that's where it's going to stay, too. 49ers said, thank you very much. Excellent field position for our offense.
So if he was a golfer, they'd call that a shank. Last time he kicked it to the 10.
First down.
This time he kicks it to the 36. So having McFadden out of there has definitely hurt.
Takes away your long field goal game, too, as well, because you look at last week's game, McFadden had a 54-yarder and a 50-yarder. He's excellent from that range, and that really gives you an opportunity to get back in ball games with a kicker like that.
Just underway, second half at Candlestick Park. Joe Montana on first down, 49ers. Andre Bruce with pressure, gets it to Rathman at the 44-yard line.
See, Tim, Bruce is going to rush from outside, so that means Jesse Tuggle, the inside linebacker, has to cover that back coming out to the flat. Worked extremely well in the first half for the 49ers, and they've gone right back to the same old home cooking, sending Rathman out in that flat. But he starts up inside, lets Andre Bruce rush from outside, and comes back out where the linebacker isn't.
As Bruce came through, Montana almost threw its sidearm around him. That's the 6th catch for Rathman this afternoon, and it'll be second down and call it 2. Left side. Tough 2 yards.
If you want to look at something that the 49ers aren't doing as well at as they have in previous years, it's running those sweeps. And the reason why is the backs have to get back off the ball a little bit and kind of bow it out as they run around the corner to allow those offensive linemen to get up, make the swing around the corner, and set themselves up on their blocks. The backs have to pull back a little bit and not run directly towards the line of scrimmage.
Atlanta is 0 for 3 in the NFC West. 2 losses to the Rams, 1 loss to the Saints. They're 0-5 on the road, and if you go back to last season, they've lost 7 straight away from home. On first down, the completion to Brent Jones down to the 33-yard line, working on the linebacker John Rady.
What happened on that play is the Atlanta linebackers shifted out. They shifted over to their right. And what does Joe Montana do? He comes back to the left with a little slight roll. Now watch the linebackers kind of work themselves over. You see them now, they're going to work themselves over to the right, and watch Montana roll back to the other side because he's got him over-adjusted here. Now it comes back out to that backside, finds his tight end who's loosened up because that linebacker that would be covering him is now over the center, John Rady. Brent Jones knows he's got, see, Andre Bruce is dropping back in his zone. Brent just slides in that little seam, finds a little hole, nestles down in there and makes the catch.
Somebody's got to hit the tight end off the line. You cannot let him off cleanly. Roger Craig has a block on the corner, gets outside. The first down inside the 15-yard line. Finally stopped by Evan Cooper.
Tim, we just talked about how you run that sweep, and that was a sweep for the 49ers, gain of 21 yards on the play, but Roger Craig allowed his linemen to set their blocks up a little bit, get back off of that ball a little bit. Now watch on the left-hand side of your screen, and watch the 2 guards pulling out. That's Bruce Colley and Harris Barton, it's a counter OT. That allows those linemen to get up there and turn their shoulders upfield. Now Roger Craig slips out the backside. You don't have to follow him directly. Just go to daylight and head upfield.
That offensive line wants to be taken out to dinner. Every time he goes over 100 yards, Craig picks up the tab for the offensive line. First down, going to the corner, Rice, touchdown! He was working on prime time and closed the show.
Time just got a lesson in what a great receiver does to you. That time Jerry just simply took it out to the corner. And the key thing though is Joe Montana put the ball down in the right place, over in the corner between the receiver and out of bounds. Perfect laying into the ball. Great reception by Jerry Rice. Good coverage really by Deion Sanders. It was not bad coverage.
Well, if you were wondering how good the 49ers are, this is a pretty good exclamation point. 35-3.
Here's the play again. Jerry Rice on a little fade pattern there. Joe Montana just lost this thing, feathers it in. You see that? The only guy that could catch that ball is Jerry Rice. Deion Sanders has nice coverage. Rice in motion now. Watch him run the fade. Come right back off of that motion. Just head to the corner of that end zone. Perfect placement of the ball. Deion's all over him, but it's a good throw.
Tim Brand along with Dan Jiggets at Candlestick Park, where the San Francisco has just exploded this afternoon. 35-3 is our score with 12:29 remaining third period. And the 49ers have scored on their last 3 possessions. Montana 16 of 19, 269 yards as you look at Deion Sanders, who is deep with Greg Patera for Atlanta. Kofor will kick off again, and with a 35-3 lead, I don't think they really have to kick away from him much anymore. So they They go ahead and kick it deep, and here he is. Prime time to the 24-yard line. $19-yard return. Tackle made by Antonio Goss, and we were asking Deion Sanders yesterday, is there much talking going on the field? You talk to them? Do they talk to you? Well, he said absolutely not, but it sure looked like Millen was grabbing his ear there.
And it's an interesting thing, too, as Jerry Rice scored that touchdown on him. He said one of his heroes is Jerry Rice. The other one, Sterling Sharp, the young wide receiver up in Green Bay. Of course, he was looking to get in on that offense now and get a couple of shots at the wide receiver spot.
First down, Atlanta at the 24. Chris Miller throws underneath, has the completion to the 36-yard line. Ron Heller, but there is a flag. Gain of 12 if it stands up.
Illegal contact, number 99 defense. Penalty decline. First down.
Michael Walter, the leading tackler, is called for the penalty.
Contact occurred more than 5 yards down the field. That's generally when they call it. Jam that receiver more than 5 yards down the field. You get one shot on him.
I'll bet Detroit beating Green Bay today.
And Green Bay last week beating Chicago, so it just shows to show you that nothing is settled in this young season. It's still young even at 10 games.
Buffalo whoops up on Indianapolis after Buffalo lost to these Atlanta players last week. First down, Miller has the completion, and oh, Griffin just tags him. Floyd Dixon had his back to the defender, and he was just nailed.
I think the Atlanta receivers are going to get the message that Don Griffin does not want anybody receiving the football in his area of the field. Watch him here as Dixon runs a stop route right on the 40-yard line. Watch Griffin come in and just unload. Shoulder again, not the head, the shoulder, just delivered it in to Floyd Dixon's back. Here's another look at it. Watch the head of Dixon snap as the blow is delivered there. That's good, clean hitting by the secondary. Did not put that helmet in there, put the shoulder in.
The bad news is Atlanta center Jamie Dukes is down, and they're working on him. Jamie Dukes came into the ball game with a hamstring injury. He also had a groin injury. They didn't know if he'd play. He's down now. We'll be back. Big Jamie Dukes is up and walking. 6'1", 285-pounder out of Florida State is replaced by Guy Bingham at center. As you look at the Western Division standings with San Francisco 3 games up on the Rams, and San Francisco's just 1 point away from being unbeaten. They lost to the Rams 13-12 earlier this year. Second down and 6, Atlanta. Good protection. Heller has the catch at the 45-yard line. And Romanowski makes the tackle.
Okay, Romanowski and Heller were playing a game of cat and mouse there. Romanowski's standing right behind Heller, who's waiting for the ball to be delivered. And Romanowski doesn't want to reach in and give him a shot before the ball gets there, but he knows that Heller's going to catch the ball. He's just simply waiting to get his shot on him.
Expectations were so high for Atlanta coming into this game, and even the San Francisco 49ers, who lost to the Falcons last year, were saying when they come in, they play this game like it's their Super Bowl. And this is a very young Atlanta team. Miller on 3rd and 1. Escapes one tackler, can't escape the other.
Pierce Holt, number 78, comes in and makes the sack. But you had Charles Haley coming all the way from the far side. Pierce Holt's one of those guys who told us, he said, you know, he looks at playing football as this is a fantasy. He says, I just want to keep playing as long as I possibly can. Here's the replay again. Chris Miller's going to roll out to the right side. Now watch, Haley's going to be coming from the backside, number 94. He misses the sack, but Pierce Holt just nails Miller right there.
Second sack on Miller today. Fulhag hadn't really been booming him. And Taylor knows it, so he stands back at the 28-yard line. Oh, this is a good punt, though. This will take Taylor all the way back to the 14. Breaks the tackle. If he didn't step out, he's gone, but they're going to mark it at the 50-yard line. A 52-yard punt, and officially it'll be a 36-yard return.
John's probably looking for prime time, saying, hey, did you check that one out? Even though they're going to call it back.
I love these guys. He's saying, I didn't step out. Come on.
He gets a good block right down there. Just as he gets to the sideline, right there, somebody extended their hands, and right there, that's a block by Greer. And that springs him there. So now he takes off and gets that sideline. But right here, as he's trying to avoid the punter, watch him step out of bounds right down in here. You see that inside foot was out of bounds, so you know they're going to call that one.
Walking the tightrope, they'll look at it again. Look at all the players are watching the big screen at the end of the stadium.
They're going to make their own review.
Taylor says, no way, I didn't step out. That's funny.
The officials are telling Taylor, don't get greedy now. You guys are up 35-3.
National Football League's come a long way. These guys can make a great play, then come back and watch it on the tube.
Yeah, that's how the instant replay is going to go. Now the players are going to start reviewing it.
Would you call it?
Instant delay.
First down, San Francisco. Roger Craig gets a tough 2 yards. Tony Casillas will get credit with the tackle. Next Saturday here on CBS, this should be a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Notre Dame, ranked #1 in the nation. Tony Rice, the Rocket, they're loaded and unbeaten, going against Penn State, ranked 13th. It all begins at 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Pacific. Who do you like, Dan?
You have to like Notre Dame, but Lou Holtz, you know, the head coach at Notre Dame, says that he may not take his Golden Domers to a bowl game. He doesn't know. He doesn't like the attitude and the way things are going right now. The kids need a little break. He said he might not take them to a bowl game. Right.
Give it up to Penn State too many times. I think Joe won't have them ready up there to turn them. Craig tiptoes across the 45, breaks another tackle to the 37-yard line. Evan Cooper finally stops him, but Craig now 12 carries and over 75 yards.
Tim, we said at the top of the game that Roger Craig and Tom Rathman told us that they wanted to get the running game going again today. The last time we saw the 49ers, they were running some sweeps and the counter OTs such as they just ran where you pull that backside guard and tackle. They've got their running game going again today very successfully. But one of the things you have to do when you're working on your running game is getting that combination of the running backs and the offensive linemen, getting into a groove and getting a feel for where each other is going to be. And that's what's happening for the 49ers offensively.
San Francisco goes to 2 tight ends. Craig the lone setback, and he's the ball carrier. Nice cutback, gets a couple more.
You'd have to think, too, at this point in time in the game, up 35-3, maybe you want to take your frontline guys out, give them a little bit of a break. Because, you know, granted, Joe Montana's missed a few games this year because of injuries, but I would think now that George Schieffer's probably thinking about maybe pulling Montana and Craig and Rathman and all those guys and letting some of the backups get a little bit of playing time. But then again, George Schieffer says, hey, I've seen too many fourth-quarter comebacks. Just ask these Atlanta Falcons about fourth-quarter comebacks. Maybe I'll leave them into the end of the third quarter.
Well, Steve Young has played well, undefeated 3-0 as a starter this year for the 49ers. Even Steve Bono has played well. This is Rathman left side. He's got the corner. To the 21-yard line, Jesse Tuggle takes him out of bounds.
I tell you what, it's beautiful to watch those guards pull up in there, though. Saw Bruce Colley come around on the sweep play, just sail up in there, take down the linebacker, Andre Bruce. Watch this 2 guards, the backside guard, number 69, Bruce Colley. He's coming around the corner now, gets a nice block at the point of attack. Harris Barton comes in, cuts down Ben Thomas. That sets it up for Rathman outside.
It's still a relatively young offensive line in that it averages under 30 years of age. 49ers continue to inject new talent. First down, Rathman, big hole, right side, breaks 2 tackles, inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. A gain of 13.
49ers ran a little lag draw there, a little delay on the draw. See the offensive lineman set up on the line of scrimmage, make it look like pass. Rathman takes a little counter step, takes the ball and heads right up through the offensive line. What you saw right there, Marion Campbell's going banjo coverage. So we'll see if they play banjo coverage defensively.
San Francisco, 22 first downs, Atlanta 9. Even understanding of what banjo coverage is. Roger Craig breaks a tackle. Tony Casillas makes the stop. Banjo.
You're an old linebacker. Explain banjo coverage.
Well, I know you know banjo coverage involves the safety. They bring him up like a linebacker. They look for things. They may play in and out on the corner.
And that time when they ran the ball, it didn't make a darn bit of difference. Chuck Clausen standing alongside Marion Campbell. Chuck Clausen was a coach that recruited me to Ohio State. Good linebacking coach, good defensive coaching. That's why Marion Campbell always has him on his staff.
First down and goal at the 7. Roger Craig to the 4-yard line. And he's met by Green, Casillas, and a whole host of Atlanta Falcons.
Good, strong defensive play by the Falcons. And then, again, if I'm George Seifert and I see that kind of activity going on, I want to take my front line guys out. Because the Falcons are getting a little angrier by the fact that they think that the 49ers may be piling this thing up on them.
Not the kind of outcome we anticipated. It's been lopsided to this point. Rice to the bottom of the screen, Taylor to the top. Rathman close to the goal line. Crowd wants him to go on 4th down, but instead George Seifert stands in Mike Kofor.
There's a shot at it up inside. Tom Rathman running the football. Guy McIntyre leading out front. Rathman's trying to get down to that end zone. So him just duck his head and try to kind of burrow himself down into the end zone, but didn't make a good stand there in the goal line by the Atlanta Falcons defense.
It'll be an 18-yard field goal attempt. You see the numbers on Kofor for this season. Barry Helton is the holder, Chuck Thomas the snapper. So put 3 more up on the board. San Francisco big. San Francisco has scored 31 straight points, Dan.
And what you're thinking about if you're a guy like Tony Casillas coming into this game now, he came into this game saying to us that he wanted to get some respect from the 49ers. He may have gotten some respect because he had a pretty good ball game so far, but really the team has kind of gotten run over by the 49ers. And now if you're on that sideline along with the Atlanta Falcons, you have to be saying, hey, look, I hope this 49ers going to kind of pull up a little bit now.
One of the things we were talking about before we went away is the fact, do you keep Montana in? Well, obviously they're going to make a switch because Steve Young is warming up on the sidelines and Montana's just looking on. He's ready to relax a little bit.
We know the thing about Montana and those guys, they never want to come out of a game.
Neon Deion Sanders at the 4-yard line. Out to the 30-yard line. He is a great talent. No question about it. 25-yard return. You know, it's funny, we were talking to Deion Sanders last night, and then Andre Bruce sat down with us, and Andre says, you know, he's only prime time when you guys come.
Well, he says he never uses prime time when he's playing baseball. Then it's Deion Sanders or maybe Neon if you really press him into it. But when he's playing football, it's prime time. Signs his autographs prime time during the football season.
I thought it was interesting listening to him talk about the mental differences between the game. He gets psyched up for football. He says he has to mellow out to play baseball. First down at the 29 for Chris Miller in Atlanta. Throws incomplete. It was intended for his running back, John Settle. Settle came into this game with 28 catches, second only to his split end, Sean Collins. But today they've really had some problems getting this offense untracked.
The offensive coordinator, Rod Dowhauer, who was once a head coach at the Indianapolis Colts, is kind of directing this offense for the Falcons. And when you get behind like this, I'm sure Rod's thinking to himself, now we got to really stretch the field a little bit and try to throw it deep sometime, because we're down by too many points to try to go with dink passes and with the running game.
4 minutes, 33 seconds remain, third period. Second down and 10, straight ahead, Settle. To the 33-yard line, Keith DeLong out of Tennessee makes the tackle. 34-year-old Pro Bowler, John Settle, only in his 3rd year out of Appalachian State.
I asked him what his hobbies were. He says he likes to watch movies and do the video games. So that's really what a lot of those young guys in the Falcons are into.
3rd and 6. On the waggle, Miller has time, now has company, and throws it away. He had time but couldn't find a receiver, so it was a coverage sack if it was going to happen. Instead, he threw it away.
He had Stacey Bailey coming to the near sideline, but Stacey didn't reverse and come back out and open up a little bit, uncover to give his quarterback a chance to squeeze the ball, and Stacey kept running to the sideline. You saw Chris kind of juggle the ball a couple times trying to look for a receiver downfield, and you're right. He just simply put it where everybody else wasn't.
This has been one of the better batteries of the day. Fulhag punting, Taylor returning. Last punt was 52 yards, but the return was 36. It would have been more, but he stepped out. Oh, and Fulhag booms this one. At the 19-yard line, the wall is set up. John Settle, the running back, made the tackle, or else he was gone.
Taylor had it if he went outside. He didn't believe he could get around Fulhag that time when he ran the ball back, so he went back up inside.
A 48-yard punt and a 34-yard return. First down at the 47, Steve Young, the new quarterback. Roger Craig with plenty of blocks on the corner, breaks a tackle, has the first down, and then some to the 33-yard line. Well, it almost doesn't matter who's running the operation right now because they're in high gear.
And really, when you look back on what they're doing is the San Francisco 49ers have gone to their running game today, the sweep game and backside tackle and guard, pulling them out in front really, which is, again, a sweep game. Getting that running game in gear, trying to get ready for the second half of the season because they felt that was the thing that they had to do for the second half.
Roger Craig gets one more yard today. The offensive line gets a free dinner. He's got 99 yards. When he goes over 100, he treats them all. Here he is. Now they're going to be fed. Down to the 22-yard line. And that's one bill I'm sure he'll be happy to pick up.
Tom Rathman is congratulating Roger on going over 100. Always a benchmark for any running back. Here you see Roger Craig break it back on the backside. Got good blocking. Everybody on that backside stayed with their blocks. That allowed Roger to come back on that backside, then get upfield and go over 100 yards. And his offensive linemen are probably the happiest guys in the stadium. They're going to take Roger downtown.
Well,
take him to the hoop, too.
I should mention that when he takes him out to dinner, when he gains 100 yards, he takes him to his restaurant. Flagler comes in and replaces him. He's the ball carrier. Tiptoes his way across the 24 down near the 20. Well, as things start to wind down here on this Sunday, we'll show you some of the scores here in the NFC Central. Detroit with a big win today over Green Bay, and Chicago over Pittsburgh.
Winning in the first time ever since 1945 in Pittsburgh.
And this is the way the standings look in the Central Division. Minnesota up top 7-3, Chicago at 6-4, and Dan and I will be in Chicago next week. Second down and 4. Flagler. Nice cut to the inside to the 13-yard line. Tony Casillas, number 75, makes the tackle.
But now, if Roger Craig's going to buy dinner, Terrence Flagler is probably going to sue the offensive line for non-support. That time, Harris Barton ran around. He's supposed to turn up the field and block a guy. He ran past one guy, and that's the guy that's chasing Terrence Flagler around.
Tom Rathman comes out of the game now to a round of applause. He's replaced by Keith Henderson. 1:07 remaining in the third period, but it's 38-3 San Francisco. Rathman leaves with 48 yards, 6 catches. This is Henderson. Dropped the ball. Was he down? We'll have to wait for a call on this one. San Francisco gets it back. Ben Thomas and Evan Cooper made the tackle. These games are never fun when you're playing.
No, it's a tough thing when you come in and, you know, the score gets way out of hand if you're
on either side, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, but especially if you're on the short side, you know, then you got a lot of things to think about. You know, you just kind of came off of a good week where you had a big win, and now you get destroyed like this, and you had a long trip back, 5 hours back in the air. It's no fun.
They need that much for the first down.
Tim, one of the things I think is important, though, is these teams, when they come out to the West Coast from the East Coast, I think they've got to come out on a Friday and get a couple of practices in out here. Otherwise, you're simply worn out by the time you fly in here and you got to play the game, and you never really rest up and, you know, kind of get in sync.
Well, we've been out on the West Coast now 3 weeks. We saw Washington come out Saturday night before playing the Raiders in Los Angeles, and they were beaten badly. We saw Philadelphia come out. They stayed out, and they were upset by San Diego. And now we see Atlanta come out late, and they're being blown out by San Francisco. So I'm not sure there is.
Philly's problem was they stayed out all week in San Diego. That's no break either. Bring them in on Friday, not on Monday.
The third period is winding down. You see the time, and they'll take that long walk to the other side. The ball will be on the 13-yard line when they finally mark it at the other end. That's the end of the third quarter with the score 38-3. We now pause for a word from your local station. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco has been golden this afternoon. 38-3, leading Atlanta. Fourth down and 1. Young goes straight ahead, and it looks like he has enough for the first down.
It appeared that Steve Young went over the left side of the offensive line for his quarterback sneak, whereas in the first quarter we saw Joe Montana go to that right side. So it's interesting. Two different quarterbacks, two different sizes they like to work to.
It's going to be awfully close. They're going to bring out the change, but Steve Young's already signaling it up that he's got enough for the first.
Of course, Steve is left-handed and Joe Montana is right-handed, so I guess that kind of makes some sense. You know, one of the interesting things is George Seifert has got his ball club running the football now, trying to burn up the clock a little bit to keep it away from a major embarrassment for Marion Campbell and his Atlanta Falcons. Swamp Fox. It's a tough day for him. Claude Humphreys is standing there and back up, and he helps out with the defensive line. Claude was a heck of a pass rusher in his day. Marion Campbell could certainly use Claude Humphreys today.
You know, that's something they really don't have, is a dominant pass rusher coming from outside. Mike Gaines still doesn't have a sack. Straight ahead, Henderson, touchdown San Francisco.
Keith Henderson wants to let everybody know back in Georgia that he's okay. Former Georgia Bulldog just takes it right up the gut of the defense here. Makes a little move there and just takes it on into the end zone. Had everybody playing back off in the secondary, and he just pounds it in.
11-yard run, and the rookie from Georgia has his first NFL touchdown as he says, "How do you do?" to Deion Sanders.
He kind of fronted out on Deion a little bit, put the ball up in his face. There's Rod Dahauer, the offensive coordinator, talking with Marion Campbell, trying to say, hey, what can we do to even make this thing look respectable as we go down the line?
44-3 with 14:24 remaining in the ball game.
Jim Hannafin, assistant head coach. Rod Dahauer, the offensive coordinator, talking with Marion Campbell. Going to put a little juice in this game for the Falcons.
San Francisco 49ers have worked as a tremendous uplifting common denominator for the people of the Bay Area, as you know, with the earthquake and the recovery that has taken place recently this week. The topic of conversation has been Proposal P, where they voted down a new stadium for the Giants, and now they're threatening to move the baseball giants out of the area.
And there's been a penalty thrown on the play, so the ball's moved back 5 yards.
Just a delay, too much time.
Right.
Kofor comes on for the extra point. And it's good. As you look at these numbers, let me tell you, the 49ers' second half drives have been 84 yards, touchdown, 64 touchdown, 48 yards for a field goal, and 54 yards for a touchdown. And it's 45 to 3. We didn't expect this.
No, we sure didn't. But, you know, the 49ers have been moving like a brand new car all season long, and now they're really hitting stride against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, watch, one of the reasons why is watch this guy, Guy McIntyre, number 62. He blocks down his man. Now, watch him go downfield and get Jesse Tuggle. He gets 2 for the price of 1 there, and that allows Henderson to take the ball in almost untouched until he gets to the goal line. Good block there by McIntyre, as well as the center, Chuck Thomas, number 60.
Still a great cutback, though, by Henderson, the 3rd-round draft pick out of Georgia.
Hey, that's what those guys are supposed to do. When you get a great block by your offensive lineman, it has to be noted.
You big offensive linemen stick together no matter what. 14:24 remaining in the game. And you've got to look at Deion Sanders as deep. And he'll have a chance at a return. And goes out at the 14, and listen to the crowd.
I don't know why Deion Sanders is running out of bounds with 14 minutes and 15 seconds remaining on the clock. I want to get upfield. I want to see him take it upfield and try to do something here. The ball dies on him, and he tries to wait for it to bounce up. Now watch him just kind of cruise out of bounds. I don't like that out of a young running back. I don't like it out of an old running back. Turn the ball upfield and run the football like you're paid to do.
A 4-yard return by Deion Sanders. Remember Billy White Shoes?
Prime time just moved to late night.
White Shoes would have done a real quick spin around and trying to go back the other way. First down at the 14. Atlanta's up against it. Miller throws deep. Almost intercepted by Griffin.
Don Griffin's going to get a game ball today for the San Francisco 49ers. He has had one tremendous football game. Watch him here on the coverage outside. But watch, the key thing is watch how he reacts back to the football. See, now he's in his back pedal. Now he's going to go right back to the football. That's very tough to do when you're going back at about, 20 miles an hour. You put on the brakes and come back and knock the ball down.
He's broken up 2 passes today. He's got 5 tackles. He's been active. He's got quite a few assists. It's 2nd down and 10 at the 14. Miller drops it underneath to Lang. To the 23-yard line. Lang is taken down by DeLong.
See, the problem for the Atlanta Falcons is they don't have a guy right now who's healthy that can go downfield. And I mean, the guy who can really break the game open for you, a guy with a 4.2 speed or something like that. That's what they really need in this situation.
Settle, Lang, and Jones have combined for 72 catches this year. Third and 1. Miller has the first down, and Collins is tackled at the 37-yard line by Steve Hendrickson. Hendrickson is a hard hitter on special teams, re-signed Friday when they waived defensive back Tom Homo to bolster the linebacking corps. Look at the NFC East and what they did today. The Rams, big on the Giants. Dallas going after 2 in a row, and this is the way it looks in the NFC East. The Giants up at top 8-1, followed by Philadelphia. Washington at 500 now by beating Philadelphia today. And Dallas, as I mentioned, going after its 2nd straight. Miller, he's mobile to Lang at the 40. Keith DeLong makes the tackle there. Number 1 pick out of Tennessee. A lot of the young folks playing now for the 49ers.
Yeah, they finally got to the 4th quarter, and then they started changing their personnel up, which was a good thing to do.
Lang drops this one and pays the price.
Like they always say, if you're going to go down there, you might as well catch it because somebody's going to hit you anyway, and that time it was DeLong, number 1 draft choice out of Tennessee. He just takes a nice level shot on Gene Lang.
Keith DeLong with that tackle we call the slobber knocker.
See, one of the things that's surprising about the 49ers, Tim, is the fact that moving their personnel in and out all season long, it almost doesn't make any difference. They're replaceable parts because there's a lot of depth on the team. Yeah, they don't have a lot of great, star-type guys, maybe except for Rice and Montana. But they got a lot of people that they can put in and out and still play on a consistent level. And that's the thing that makes them a great team.
On 3rd and 7, Miller bounce passes this one to Floyd Dixon. San Francisco plays hard for four quarters no matter who's in. Take a look. We showed you the Central and the East. This is what's happening in the West. Of course, that's 8-1 officially until the clock ticks away the last 12-19, but it's pretty emphatic right now.
And the Rams, of course, were saying they're going to win today by saying they're 6-4. They're ahead of the Giants.
Well, here we go again. Fulhag to Taylor. Fulhag has another good punt that'll take Taylor to the 14-yard line. And Taylor runs out of bounds at the 24. Brad Beckman will get credit with a tackle, a 46-yard punt, a 9-yard return. And with 12:08 remaining in the ball game, it's one-sided, if not decided. Here's the downside of a one-sided game. Keith Henderson, the rookie out of Georgia, has injured his knee and is going into the ball game, or going out of the ball game, leaving the stadium. 1 catch, 78 yards, his first NFL catch. He also had 2 carries for 11 yards in his first NFL touchdown, but he's leaving with a knee injury. Flagler straight ahead to the 31-yard line. Well, you hate to see a guy like Henderson play as well as he did and then leave with that injury. Tony Borg with the tackle on Flagler. Don't forget, coming up next Saturday in Happy Valley, State College, Pennsylvania. Notre Dame, the top-ranked team, going against Penn State, ranked number 13. It all starts at 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Pacific, right here on CBS. It's the CFA, Notre Dame, and Penn State.
And I don't think there's any question Notre Dame is still the #1 team in the nation, but you got to admit Colorado's looking pretty good. They're putting a lot of pressure on Notre Dame.
What about Alabama?
Alabama's
up on
looking great as well. That's right. Bill Curry's done a great job down there. Old Green Bay Packers.
Flagler loses the ball but gains 5 yards. It hits at the 40 and goes out of bounds. Tim Gordon stripped it loose.
And actually, you can't fumble forward, so they're going to bring it back to where the spot where he fumbled the ball at. Watch Terrence Flagler. The ball just gets pounded out there by Tim Gordon, number 41. So that's that old Ken Stabler play where you can't fumble forward. So they're just going to rule it. It's going to go out right there where he fumbled the ball. Gordon with a nice little strip there. It would have been nice if Deion Sanders was in position to turn around and pick it up for the Falcons. Gordon's played some pretty good football for the Falcons, except for that one play where Jerry Rice got away from both he and Charles Demery for the touchdown. Everybody was slipping on the play.
45-3, San Francisco. Flagler again carries the ball, this time from the right side, and bangs his way out to the 38-yard line. Stadium emptying out here. A lot of controversy this week in San Francisco about the Giants possibly moving out. Proposal P was voted down.
And it's interesting, too, because you look in Atlanta, and I was talking with Rankin Smith, the owner of the Falcons, and they're putting up their new dome, the Georgia Dome. And it'll be in a nice spot downtown, I guess, and it's going to have everything. State-of-the-art, he says. We got a player down on the field. Not quite sure who it is, but they're checking his knee.
Flagler is injured at the 38. You're talking about new stadiums. Baltimore Orioles are having a new baseball stadium built. Atlanta, talking to these folks, are excited. They're ready to start and break ground this month for a brand new stadium for the Falcons down in Atlanta. And Washington will have a new stadium. It'll be near National Airport. We can break that story, but I don't think that anybody's really told yet about the new stadium in Washington. But Jack Kent Cooke evidently has reached an agreement, a land swap, and it'll be out by National Airport in Washington.
I know that Jack Kent Cooke told me before that last year that he said it's going to get done. If I'm after it, it's going to get done, and indeed it has. And you see that Atlanta Falcon bench. They're not thinking about a new stadium right now. They think about how depressing this day has been for them. Came in here with high expectations, coming off of a roll after beating Buffalo, was leading the AFC West, and then came in here today and simply got destroyed.
The proposition to improve Candlestick passed this week, and Proposal P to build a new stadium for the Giants was voted down. This is the downside. We told you these games aren't pleasant for either team. Atlanta, reasons are obvious. For San Francisco, the offense gets a little bit out of sync when it's lopsided like this because you leave your game plan and players get hurt. Henderson just left. Now Flagler leaves.
And Flagler's one of those guys who was talking earlier in the season about wanting to get traded because he wasn't getting enough playing time. Now when he does, he gets banged up.
And consequently, because those two leave, you have to go back with Rathman and Craig, your starters. Young has the completion to Mike Wilson. And that ball was perfectly thrown on the slant.
After that, when they say Mike Wilson could catch a BB at midnight, too, you saw him just kind of pull that thing down there. Great play by Steve Young. Watch Steve Young thread the needle. I know this is an old cliche, but this is really threading the needle in there. Watch. Oh, that's a nice little grab there by Mike Wilson. Just kind of took it away from Tim Gordon.
Young has not had an incompletion today. He's 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Under 10 minutes to play now as the sun comes out over Candlestick. And the bay glistens on the outside of Candlestick. Rathman carries on the right side, cuts back into the 44-yard line. Tim Gordon trips him up.
He's going to ride his horse through one of the palaces over in London.
8:55 remaining in the ball game. It's 2nd down and 7 at the 43 San Fran. Big Tom Rathman goes head up with Michael Reed, the linebacker.
I'm not sure, but I think I saw the 49ers run a double gut there with two out blocks going on in the middle of the field. And then let's watch and see up inside. I know Jesse Sapula is now playing guard. See him coming around his block. And yeah, they started to. Harris Barton on the other side started to come around his guard to set it up too. They're going to run a double gut with both of those linemen coming up through the out blocks there. But one got through, the other one didn't. They're doing some interesting things up front, moving some people around. Now Jesse Sapula's back to his old position, left guard instead of playing center. They're giving Chuck Thomas a shot in at the center position.
Rathman now has 57 yards running, 42 yards pass receiving. And you see the 45-second clock is down to 3. Whoa! Rathman and Ben Thomas put head-to-head, testing out their helmets. Rathman gets up and Thomas is shaking.
When they hit like that, you don't want to see anybody staying on the ground because that can be serious.
Talking about two full-grown men. Thomas is 6'3", 275 pounds. Rathman, 6'1", 235. Just listen to the sound of this hit. Woo!
I'm glad I'm out of the game.
Makes the hair stand on end.
I'm glad I'm out. Keep me up here in the booth.
Slobber knocker number 2. 49ers.
I think that one will have to go on our greatest hits tape that we're going to try to put together before the end of the season as well, Tim. Our director, Mike Arnold, is going to put that tape together for us. It's going to be great.
49ers have their first punt coming up with 7:25 remaining in the game. Barry Helton's had the day off.
He's been over there getting a manicure.
Helton will go to the corner. It'll hit at the 5 and roll in for the touchback. A 38-yard punt, no return, and with 7:05 remaining in the ball game. The score remains the same, 45-3. First down and 10, the ball at the 20. Hugh Millen in at quarterback. Lang breaks the tackle and breaks outside across the 35 to the 41-yard line. Johnny Jackson made the stop. A gain of 21.
Hugh Millen's not a bad little quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He had some success early this season against the Green Bay Packers, and right now Kevin Fagan is down on the field for the 49ers. Hugh Millen there talking with Ron Dowhauer and Chris Miller.
After 9 years as a 49er assistant coach, George Seifert took over as the 12th head coach of the 49ers. And everybody talks about Well, sure, he's 8-1 coming into this game, 9-1 after today, but they won the World Championship. You know, he's got all these great players. Well, it hasn't been that easy. He sat and talked with us about the holdouts, the contract disputes, the Tim McKyer situation where he suspended him.
And there's a lot of pressure on him, quite naturally, understanding, you know, what has gone on here with San Francisco to be successful again and to keep a smile on the faces of Roger Craig's and the Tom Rathmans and keep them successful. He knows he's got a great machine there. He's just got to make sure that he keeps running in the right direction and at full throttle.
Fagan comes out. Pletzer comes in, and the ball is on the ground, up for grabs, and I believe Lang gets it back for Atlanta.
Greg Patera, it looked like, I think it was Greg Patera, was fumbling the ball as he came through the line of scrimmage. And just as he hits the line of scrimmage, you see right there, he never really looks for the football. It appeared that he thought maybe the thing was going to be a toss because he's looking up at the point of attack, never really turned around and looked for the football. Antonio Goss thinks that he's playing soccer. He bumps the ball with his head and it keeps going, heading towards out of bounds. Gene Lang tries to recover.
2nd down and 4 for Millen. And whistle blows, and they'll stop the action. That will not be delay, I don't think.
False start prior to the snap. Number 73 offense, still 2nd down.
Ralph Norwood is the guilty party at left tackle. 2nd-round draft pick out of LSU. Well, we haven't seen Sanders on offense today, and we fully anticipated that before the game.
Falcons have talked a little bit about it, some places they had in mind or run Dion, but after that little run back that he had, I'm not sure if I'd want to put him in on offense and let him do anything on that side of the ball today.
Lang gets back to the line of scrimmage. Tripped up by Daniel Stubbs. And the good news is the clock continues to move at 5:20. It'll be 3rd down and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Well, Deion Sanders is a good rookie, I think, for the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm surprised at how much I like him. I mean, he's a very nice young man. He's got a lot of things going on in his life. He's very excited.
And again, there's a penalty.
And he said every time he looks in the mirror, he gets up and looks in the mirror, he looks at himself and he goes, "How do you like me now?"
False start prior to the snap. Number 79 offense, still 3rd down.
Bill Fralick. There's Roger Craig with his son. He's having a good time. Everybody's got a smile on their faces down that 49er sideline. The key thing there, though, is young fella has a candy bar. At least I think that's Roger's son.
No, that's not a candy bar.
Wasn't that a candy bar?
No, that's a little toy.
It's too bad my telestrator's not working. I'd circle it up for you. Get a replay on that.
That's a little automobile. I know all about those in our household. 5th penalty for Atlanta. It'll be 3rd and 15. Hugh Millen has pressure and he'll be sacked. Daniel Stubbs gets the sack. And the 2nd-year pro out of Miami has the 3rd sack of the day for San Francisco.
Daniel Stubbs may end up being as good an outside linebacker / defensive end as Charles Haley is. Watch on the bottom left of your screen, you're going to see Stubbs come in on that pass rush. Now watch him go outside with the rip technique. You saw that rip, that arm under, and now he just heads straight to the quarterback. He's got great instinct in terms of going to the quarterback.
So Fulheg is probably getting leg weary about this time. And Greer will be the return man. Fulheg gets another good punt. Greer will take it at the 31. Gets back to the 35. So it's a 37-yard punt, a 4-yard return. The tackle was made by Galen Thaxton. Take you through the league now. The National Football League will take you around the round robin and show you the NFC East first. Giants still on top, but Philadelphia lost today to Washington, so that closes the gap for the number 2 spot. And then Dallas and Phoenix going after it.
And there's the NFC Central. Minnesota out in front of 7-10. Chicago following up 6-4. They won today, beating Pittsburgh. Green Bay lost to Detroit today, so they moved to 5-5. And Tampa Bay at 3-7.
Take you over to the NFC West. San Francisco will go to 9-1 with a big win today. The Rams at 6-4. New Orleans goes to 500, and Atlanta will move to 3-7. And still going without a win on the road. Haven't won yet away from home. Rathman, a big hole up the middle. Bangs his way out to the 44. Right now, let's take you back to New York and Brent Musburger. Brent?
Tim, you mentioned Dallas and Phoenix, so let's get you up to date on what's going on. The lead changed hands a short time ago on this Tom Tupa pass to Ernie Jones. A little inside of 6 minutes to go in that game. 17-13 now. Phoenix leading Dallas. Let's go back to Tim.
All right, Brent, here it's 45-3, San Francisco.
Not quite as tight. Maybe now we'll see Jimmy Johnson go back to Steve Walsh. Give him a shot trying to win the ball game.
A word from the San Francisco bench is Kevin Fagan has a pinched nerve, probably will not return. So the defense continues to get banged up for the 49ers as Rathman takes it straight ahead. You know, this has been a makeshift defense pretty much for San Francisco because of the injuries. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, welcome to Candlestick Park. Tim Brandt and Dan Jiggets with you. And 60 minutes will be shown immediately following this game in its entirety, except in the Pacific and Mountain time zones. Here at Candlestick, it's San Francisco 45, Atlanta 3. Just under 3 minutes to play, and it's been one-sided since the very first possession of the 49ers. Chris Miller started the game, and the best he did today was kick a 25-yard field goal when Paul McFadden, the kicker, pulled a thigh muscle. Rathman carries it into Atlanta territory. Paxton makes the tackle.
Tim, I'm just starting to think about old Rathman. He better slow down there. I know Roger Craig has gone over 100, so he's going to be buying dinner for the offensive lineman. You combine Tom Rathman's yards, I'm sure combined he's up over 100. He's got to be closing in at 75 yards on the ground and 15 carries. He better slow down. Or, you know, those guys, those offensive linemen are going to be overfed this week.
Roger Craig left with 110 yards. You know, he always takes care of those offensive linemen. Last year, he bought them all grandfather clocks. In 1985, he went over 1,000 yards, bought them all rifles. And every time he goes over 100 yards, which he did today, he buys them dinner at his restaurant. San Francisco, 232 yards on the ground. They told us they were going to get the running game going. They have. The stadium by the bay, Candlestick Park in San Francisco, and it's been all one-sided. The 49ers over the Falcons, 45-3 as we head into the final 2 minutes of play. Roger Craig with 110 yards rushing today. Never missed a game in his career. His brother-in-law is Michael Nunn, great middleweight.
And Freddie Joe Nunn down in with the Phoenix Cardinals is his cousin as well.
San Francisco came in with the #2 ranked offense in the NFL. They may be #1 after today. Rathman carries and is tackled by Thaxton. Let's take you back to New York. Here's Brent.
The Cleveland Browns went to 7-3 today, 17-7 over Seattle. Here is Bernie Kosar's TD pass. Great catch by Lawyer Tillman, the former star at Auburn. And again, it was 17-7, and let's go back to Tim.
Brent, there's another one of those great names you like out of the Southeast Conference, Lawyer Tillman.
Yeah, well, Brent, I'm sure he knows, though, that if Lawyer Tillman made the reception, it's got to be legal. They didn't review it.
You can tell our score is 45-3 here, folks. It's 1:22 remaining in the ball game. Steve Young is the quarterback. 3rd and 1 at the 43. Young appears to have the first down. Best records in the NFC.
The 49ers, everybody's expecting Minnesota to make a serious run towards the Super Bowl this year, of course, with the acquisition of Herschel Walker. And Mike Lynn, their general manager, saying if they don't get to the Super Bowl, then he made a bad selection in terms of making that trade. The Giants are doing extremely well at 8-2, and they're being chased by Philadelphia, but Philadelphia lost today to the Washington Redskins. A surprising loss, just like they lost last week to the Chargers.
49ers and Giants play in 2 weeks. As the 49ers head into the toughest part of their schedule. And that'll do it. Young kneels down, the clock play, and mercifully this game ends. It's official. It's in the history book. San Francisco beats Atlanta 45-3. So the standings in the NFC West then look like this. It's 9-1 San Francisco. The Rams are 6-4. And the Falcons drop back to 3-7.